All right, guys. We are back in the world of Twin Peaks and David Lynch. I had to switch it from last night. It was my mom's 68th birthday today. So I was hanging out with the family and stuff last night into today. Now we got Twin Peaks to relax to for a Sunday evening. And Ginger's here. He would like a slice of cherry pie and a damn fine cup of coffee. You can definitely have those. I can't send them to you, but you can get them yourself and enjoy them. See, now, I don't know why I always second guess myself. I kept thinking to myself that there's 8 episodes to season one. And for some reason, when I was putting the stream together and the episode guide and stuff, it kept saying episode 7 is the finale. And I kept saying to myself, that don't sound right. It sounds like there's another one. And then season 2, episode 1 and 2. So we might go, there's 8 episodes. So we might go through 7, 8, and the first of episode 2. Since I don't know why some places say 7 and some say 8. I don't know if it originally was broadcast 7 and 8 as one ending, like an hour and a half finale. Maybe that's where the confusion came from. But yeah, we got good stuff ahead here. Hey, what's up, man? I'm watching The Hunting Wives. Very good show. I love Brittany Snow. Brittany Snow's great. And what's that movie? That's very underrated. And Malin Ackerman, she's fucking gorgeous. Seeing Fantastic Four Tuesday. But Brittany Snow in Would You Rather? I love that movie so much. It's so underrated. And Jeffrey Combs is fantastic. That's probably my second favorite Combs performance next to Reanimator and him playing Herbert West is him in Would You Rather with Brittany Snow. That's a great one. But how's everybody's weekend been? We are up to Sunday. Sunday's almost over. But we got some damn fine coffee over here on the nightstand. And I'll wait for a few people to come in if they want to watch along. And then we'll get right to starting not the finale, episode 7, and then the finale of season 1, episode 8. And then probably season 2, episode 1. What's up, Joe? A fire, walk with me. Correct. We're going to be walking with the fire, where the pretty birds sing or where the birds sing a pretty song. And we get some clues. We get the clues from the giant in the season 2 premiere. I know that it's not really streaming for free anywhere that I know of, but the show is on Amazon Prime in some way. I don't know if you have to be subscribed to Paramount or some type of other extension, or it's on lookmovie.com for free. So anyone who wants to watch along, shit, I can't pull up. Ginger, if you can you go to Look Movie quick and just pull up Twin Peaks, the series, copy the link, if you can. If not, I'll do it on my phone. It's always weird when I try to access that site on the phone. Like the layout's different. Or I can put a link in here for people who want to watch along, who don't have the means of watching, because it's not really streaming, like I said, anywhere I know for free. What are you up to in your memoirs, Ant? Feeling a lot better. Good to hear, man. And thank you for that. I'd rather be, yeah, you, would you rather? Oh, no, yeah, no worries, buddy. Oh, yeah, that's right. You can't go on Look Movie. That's right. They blocked that shit. Smart on their end, but sucks, for everyone like yourself and anybody who wants to at least access something, keep the time passing. 1 second. I'll pull it up. Because I just know when I open a different uh, tab, it freezes up a little bit. I just got to search for it. And then we'll get this one going. This is episode 7, titled. What the hell's the title of this? I just had it up. Realization Time. Peaks. Show 1990. Okay, perfect. Here is Look Movie. It's free. There's just a 10-second ad, and you have to click, I'm not a fucking robot. And then that's it. They have basically any movie that you can think of, or 99.9% of them, TV shows, all that. Let me catch up on this. Still up to 2014 ad? Cool. Yeah, you got only 11 years, man, to be the present day. I rewatched Twin Peaks recently on Pluto TV. Okay, so maybe it's on Pluto, for those who do have it. Yeah, the Pluto's bad with the ads. Like, it's really bad. Same with Peacock. Those two in particular, those streaming apps, they are so bad with the ads and the commercials, and they repeat the same ones. I'm not sure if it's Peacock or Pluto. It might be Pluto, but at least back when I was watching stuff on it, and certain movies I did reviews on, I had to watch it on Peacock, and the same exact commercial break every ad break. Same commercials, 4 or 5 of them in a row, every single. I was like, oh man, it was Jeepers Creepers too. I remember that because I remember it made the movie feel so much longer than it was already. And I don't really care for 2 as it is that much. But yeah, Pluto sucks when it comes to the commercials. You're watching. I just watched episode 3 last night, and I didn't get to 4. It was up, but I didn't get to watch it yet. But I'm in. I'm kind of enjoying so far where they're going with Dexter, but I have a long, complicated history with the show. I think the first 4 seasons are phenomenal for the most part. Season 3 is a little dip in quality, but seasons 1, 2, and especially 4 with the Trinity Killer with John Lithgow, peak. I do like Lumen's whole storyline in season 5, so that's a good season for the most part for me. Then it's when it starts going downhill with season 6, season 7, when Deb finds out that, who her brother is. That's when there's a little bit of a, resurgence in the quality, and I kind of enjoy season 7. Season 8 is a mixed bag and mostly a train wreck. And then the finale, most people, including myself, hated. I didn't like how they ended New Blood either. So I feel like this is the 3rd time now, and now it's obvious they're going in the direction of him getting caught and, and paying for his crimes, which I hope he does. I hope that's how they ended. I'm pretty sure that's how the novels ended the story, even though the shows barely followed the novels at all, and I haven't read any of the novels. But I'm pretty sure they ended with him going to jail, him getting caught. Hey, what's up, Brian? Hey, what's up, everybody? R.I.P. Yes, rest in peace to Ozzy Osbourne and Hulk Hogan. What a double header, man! To lose 2 people like that in a week. Hulk Hogan and both of them are legends. But I was never a huge wrestling guy. But as a musician, and heavy metal was always a genre I was usually into, and growing up, especially Black Sabbath. He was a big loss. When I heard Ozzy died, I said, "Oh man, that really is unfortunate." I had a meridian dream about Brianna last night. She said, "I'm proud of you." Oh, that's cool. That's good when you get some type of. There are signs like that. I lost a girlfriend of mine years and years ago. She's been gone 10 years, and that's years after we stopped dating. But she was in a car accident, and she was driving to her then boyfriend's house, swerved. It was like 3 a.m. She was tired. She swerved, hit the median, flipped the car. She survived without a scratch, the crash. And for some reason, no one will ever know, she ran back onto the highway to grab something from her car. And 2 people did stop and were helping her and stuff, but it seemed like she was just out of it, from the crash. And she ran back to the car, got hit dead on, fucking out of her shoes, and just killed instantly. Like Final Destination type stuff. Like she was meant to go then. But there were certain signs and stuff that I got afterwards. So I'll definitely look for those. I just watched the new Dexter episode tonight, episode 4. Cool. I gotta watch that as soon as I possibly can. Because episode 3 was better than the first two. I didn't care. I wasn't sure if I liked where they were going fully, which I'm still on the fence with some things, but I really enjoyed episode 3 more than anything so far with this series, the new series. Yeah, that's right. Malcolm Jamal, too. Ozzy Osbourne, Hulk Hogan, and Brianna. But all right, so yeah, we got episode 7 of season 1. I'm gonna hit go on this. After a 3, 2, 1, go, and we will start diving into Twin Peaks. So 3, 2, 1, go. If anybody needs a timestamp as time goes on or anything, because we're going to be here for 2-3 hours or so, let me know and I will throw a timestamp up. But to recap what happened in the last episode, let's see where we're up to here. I forgot. It was 3 weeks ago that we did that one. Let's see. I've been rewatching The Return on my own here and there because I haven't watched The Return in maybe a year and a half, 2 years. So I've been rewatching, and I'm up to the last 3 episodes or so. She was killed by a drunk driver. She was only 21. Fucking tragic, man. Shared it on. Thanks, Sam. Lara Flynn Boyle. I always thought she was so gorgeous, Lara Flynn Boyle, back then. I don't know what happened over time. She didn't age that gracefully. And for Fire Walk with Me, I said in my deep dive on the video, I usually don't like recasts in any way when it comes to TV or film or anything like that. And I'm huge on continuity. But there's certain things that don't bother me. It depends on the movie heavily or the show. And I don't mind the recast with Moira Kelly in Fire Walk with Me. I think she does good as Donna. She's barely in it anyway. But I always forget to look up why Lara Flynn Boyle didn't come back. Pretty sure it was a money or time thing. Oh, that's right. That's where we left off. We had Cooper walk into his room at the Great Northern and Audrey in his bed. So now he is talking with her. She's naked under the sheets in his bed. And the FBI has taught him some amazing resistance and strength and moral codes because she is gorgeous. And they were supposed to go in that direction, right? With season 2, I think they were supposed to have a romance between Audrey and Cooper, and they ended up, because of the age difference, which I think she was what, like 18, and he's 20 something in the show, but because of the age difference, they veered away from that, and then they had Annie come in, and that's why we got Heather Graham and Annie on the show as the love interest. But it was supposed to be Audrey and Cooper originally. If anybody knows why exactly they veered away from that, let me know. Bring this up. Let me share this out to X. I forgot that. So this came up, this question, in the TikTok series that I did, Twin Peaks Explained by Twin Peaks and a Log Lady, which one of those was taken down for copyright. So fucking, and it was the best one too. It was with Philip Jeffries and Mr. C and everything. But Judy, who's mentioned often in The Return and in Fire Walk with Me, those who are Twin Peaks fans and know the lore, what are your opinions on Judy? Who do you think Judy is in the show? And I specify that because it's different than what you think Judy may represent if you're looking at the show as a meta fiction on television, which is a very, very common interpretation. But I want to know what people think who Judy is in the show, like in the mystical elements of the story, not the metafiction. Because there's so many levels to this whole fucking show. Ginger, have you heard that whole story? Well, not story, the interpretation on Twin Peaks, and seen there's a 4.5 hour long video on YouTube by Twin Perfect, who has a video called Twin Peaks Explained. No, really. And basically, and he nails it too. I agree with the whole thing, basically. He ends up going on, and it's been a theory for years, but he kind of just put it all together in one place and made it concise, that the show is a whole meta commentary on television and how Lynch viewed, the violence on TV that we all love and crave as negative TV violence. And the mystery of Laura Palmer was supposed to draw people in with that TV violence. And Bob represents TV violence, and Cooper represents the audience. Same with all the FBI characters. They all represent the audience in some way. And it's a whole metafiction on television itself. And it all makes perfect sense. Like, perfect sense. So in that, Judy represents closure and like an answer, an explanation, a resolution, which is something we always wanted as Twin Peaks fans, because we always want the answers. We always want the answers to these questions. So that's what Judy represents in that whole theory. But in the actual show, like in the universe, the mythos, all the weird stuff going on, if you take it on that level, I don't think it's Sarah Palmer. It's not Laura's mom, but she's definitely possessed by something. Sherilyn Fenn was always fire. Yeah, absolutely. She was gorgeous. I'm trying to get her on the channel. She answered once on Threads. I said, "Hey, Sherilyn, how's it going? Hope all's well. I sent you a message here on IG regarding an interview," and she answered and said, "What's IG?" And then by the time I answered, I'm sure she moved on and didn't see anything after that. So I got to try to reach out to her again, because she is one, still gorgeous, I think, and two, yeah, she would be an amazing guest to have on. But the reason I think they steered away from the relationship was, yeah, that's what I pretty much always assumed, because she is 18 in the show, I think. But and Cooper's in his 20s, I want to say like his early 20s, he's supposed to be in the show. So, I mean, it's not like anything. They could have went that direction, but I'm sure they did get a little bit of backlash back then because of it. And that's probably why they didn't go in that direction and switched it to Annie. But yeah, that whole Twin Perfect video with the explanation, that's one hell of a listen. It's 4.5 hours. I had to watch it once, broken over like 3 days or 2 days or something like that. Then there's an hour-long extra video that he uploaded to explain some other things that he wasn't able to touch on in the original video. Man, that guy pieced it all together. Here we got Bobby and Leo spying on him. Leo finds out that Bobby's fucking his girl. That ain't good. What's her name? Madchen? Is that how you say it? Madchen, who plays Shelly? She's another one. She was absolutely beautiful back then. And still, the last time I saw her, gorgeous still too. She was, I think, a model or something for years, and she definitely was. Yeah, that definitely did happen, for sure. Absolutely. But still, I'm sure she would be a amazing guest to talk with. You know who actually I'm not sure 100% if it's really her TikTok account, but it seems like it is. But if it is, then David Lynch's daughter, Jen Lynch, liked my Twin Peaks covers that I posted on TikTok recently of the theme, the main theme, and Laura's theme. So I sent her a message actually, and just to say sorry to hear about David's passing and everything. Seems like it's really her. Mad Dynamic, that's it. Or Meek, whatever it is, was and still is a stunner. And yeah, and she was a great actress. I feel like she never got enough credit. She always got the credit for her looks and didn't get enough credit for her acting abilities because she is a great actress. Very underrated indeed. So, this is the bird. Is this the parrot that says Laura over and over? Oh, no, that's Lucy on the radio. See, he was about to kill Bobby right here and there, Leo. He's spying on him. Bobby's in the house with Shelly, and he's got a friggin' rifle pointed right at Bobby. He's about to kill before he gets hears on the radio Lucy. So he was already right there. Hey, what's up, Scott? Just gonna ask. Chicken, rice, and corn. Watching I'm doing good. Nice, man. He was dude, that's right. I forgot she was even in that film. That's right. That is her. And that's a very underrated movie. I actually really like Sleepwalkers. I haven't seen that movie in forever, though. But that was Mick Garris, right? Directed that. I really, really like that movie. It's not a good movie, like you said. It's not a great film, but it is fun. And it is weird, and it is interesting. But man, I would have never remembered that she was in that. That's right. And Sherilyn Fenn was in Meridian, that Charles Band directed, which I haven't seen, or I don't remember. If I did, I don't remember it at all. I don't think I ever did, though. He mentioned that when I had him on, and that it had Sherilyn Fenn that he had in his film. And I said, oh, which one is that? He said, Meridian. I said, I've heard of that, but I don't think I ever saw it. I never did. I gotta watch that. Now we got Maddy, which I love how Lynch brought Sheryl Lee back to play her cousin who looks identical to her because he loved her so much as a person and loved working with her and thought she was such a great actress, but she only played a dead person and was barely in it. So I like that he brought her back as Maddy. And then there's the whole little love triangle going on between her or James and Donna and Maddy, and they sing that awful song later on in the season. What, Meridian? Yeah. Was for Sherilyn Fenn? I could see that. Oh, this is our little infamous tape to Jacoby. There's a dream reference like every fucking episode in this show. Ba-dum, bing, bing. Ba-dum, ba-dum. That's it. What's this? This is Horne's department store, the perfume counter, where they groom the girls in high school to go to One-Eyed Jack's and work as sex workers. It's fucked up, man, what they were doing to these poor girls in this town. And that Ben Horne knew about all of this. I mean, him and his brother Jerry go to One-Eyed Jack's all the time and sleep with the girls. You get that disturbing scene when Audrey she works her way into One-Eyed Jack's and then she gets kidnapped and gets held hostage there and gets injected with heroin. But before that, you have Ben Horne come in and he doesn't know it's his daughter, the new girl, and she has to put the mask over her face, and almost in a parallel to Laura with her father. She has to ward off her father from making sexual advances at her because he doesn't know it's her. That's a really creepy scene. Really, really eerie stuff. But oh man, Sherilyn Fenn is so fun. Absolutely. I wish she still acted and stuff. I don't know the last time she did something. I know it's been a long ass time since I've seen her in anything besides The Return, and that was 2017. The unicorn. Another horse reference that we get a lot of throughout this. The horse is the white of the eyes, dark with it. This is the water. That's such a great fucking. What a great poem of whatever it is that he's saying there. That's such a great sequence. Episode 8 of The Return is one of the greatest episodes of television ever, like ever aired. The Return in general was one of the best experiences I've ever had watching a television show or a season of a show or anything, and a television event from beginning to end. The Return is top 3. Breaking Bad's another one. The Sopranos is another one. And The Wire. I didn't see The Wire when it was coming out. It was a few years into it. But The Wire, I think, is one of the greatest shows ever made too. She does a lot more TV series and movies. Oh, so she still does stuff. Okay. All right. So she's still consistently working. I didn't know because I haven't seen Sherilyn Fenn in anything. And I was going to say it would be a waste because she's a great actress. Oh, so we just hit 2,400 followers or subscribers on the channel, guys. So thank you, as always, for your constant support and love and all that and always being here. So we hit 2,400 and we just hit 2,400 and blew past that almost to 25 on TikTok. So thank you to everyone from TikTok land who came and joined the horror fam over here. We also just hit 2,000 on Instagram. So we're hitting shit all over the place. You need some good news in life every now and then. I think. All right, I read that. Yeah, I only watched The Wire last year. Still not seen. Dude, are you serious? You haven't seen The Sopranos? You got to watch The Sopranos. Like, drop your entire life right now and start watching The Sopranos. It's one of the greatest shows ever made. Absolutely. But the Wire, what do you think of it? You watched the whole thing, all 5 seasons? The Wire is an excellent show. Same with Oz. That was another early HBO show, original. That was a great friggin' series with a great cast. Your Instagram is climbing. Hit 3,000 last week, and now at the nice, man. Yeah, you've been killing it on Instagram. It's every fucking platform's completely different. Because like Instagram, all I really do is post the same is stuff from the channel or from TikTok. That's like the meeting place, Instagram, between the two. That's where like those two platforms can join and the content from both can merge on Instagram. But mostly it's just posting a picture saying new video out, here's the video, or posting that video. Not seen Oz, The Wire is great. Yeah, The Wire is so good. Especially, I love how it dissects each season a different part of the city and how it works. Like in season 1 with the drugs and how that's where the name of the show came from. They're using The Wire and they're investigating all the drug dealers and stuff. Then it goes on to the docks and all of that work. And then it goes to the school system and the media in season 5. What a great friggin' show and what a great way to structure it. And Oz, though, is great. Classic prison show. One of the better if not one of the best prison shows, I would say. It's much better than Prison Break, and I loved Prison Break for the first few seasons at least. So now Audrey is working at the counter, perfume counter at Horne's department store. She's trying to figure out, she's playing a little detective on her own. She's trying to find out exactly what happened to Laura, even though they weren't really friends or close or anything like that. That saxophone right there sounds very similar to Fire Walk With Me's score. Which, man, everything that Angelo Badalamenti did, unreal. Hey, what's up, Ben? It's been a bit. How you been, brother? Good to see you, man. Did you hear the crazy shit with dude from Prison Break? Which one? Which guy? And obviously, no, I didn't hear anything. The main guy who plays Michael Schofield? I forget the actor's name. Or is it the other guy? Yeah, Purcell. Oh, okay, Purcell, the brother. Dominic Purcell? Is that his name? What would happen with him now? Did he get accused of some shit? That seems like what everything is with any celebrity news lately. Yeah, Dom, right? Dominic Purcell. Yeah, spill the beans. Got to hear it. He was hooking up with Miley Cyrus' sister, and then he moved on to marry their mom. Are you serious? Oh, man, that's funny. He was hooking up with Miley Cyrus' sister, and then moves on and marries their mother. I mean, what a move. I mean, he was able to pull that off somehow. I don't know if the sister talks to her mom anymore. If she does, then he really pulled off an amazing thing that 99.9% of people never get to pull off or experience. 100%. Damn. That's some Cornhub shit right there. Skinamax. I have wanted to have him up. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if the daughter hates him or the daughter hates the mom or anything, but if it all worked out, I don't know how that worked out. He really made some fucking impression on both of them. He's probably still banging the door. He's probably still banging Miley Cyrus' sister. Other side, we can't keep doing this. I'm married to your mother. Man, he's in some situation there. That's like uncharted territory for most people that you can't even really fathom. The daughter's in her 20s, and he's the mom's age. Crazy. Yeah, I didn't hear anything about that. All I've been hearing about is death. Fucking Hulk Hogan and Ozzy Osbourne and the other one. I always forget the third guy, the guy from Crosby Show, right? Cosby Show. I was thinking Crosby, Stills, and Nash for some reason. Oh, this is when we have Josie Packard admitting to Harry Truman, the sheriff, and her lover that she's been surveilling and taking pictures. For Ben Horne and oh, come on, what's her fucking name? Diane. Not Diane. Oh, come on, what's Piper Laurie's character's name in this? Catherine. That's it. I was gonna say, how the hell am I forgetting that? Yeah, he's like 56. Yeah, wow, is he? He's up there. Not that that's old, but I would not have thought he was 56 already. Theo. Yeah, Theo and then Malcolm. Yeah, Malcolm Jamal Warner. Jericho with Luke Perry and Sean Astin. Never saw that one. Oh, was he in Community? That was a show I never got into and always kind of wanted to. I watched a few episodes here and there back when it started because they used to play it right around before or after The Office and Parks and Rec, right? And I was a big fan of The Office, and I used to watch Parks and Rec for the first 5, 6 seasons. I was into it. And I remember Community being the other show that they would play like in that block of time every week. He was the one girl's husband. Yeah, I think I've heard you mention Community before and that you're a fan of it. But how's everything been, man? How's life? How's summer treating you? Oh, they're at One Night Jack's, or they're about to do. Yeah, so Catherine Martell, Piper Laurie, this character, and Ben Horne have been stooping on the side. Josie Packard's been taking pictures of them. And then there's the whole Ghostwood land development deal. And then Catherine in season 2 ends up dressing up like a Japanese guy. And yes, and gives like this. It's so out there. It's so ridiculous. It's so fun, though. A lot of the stuff in season 2 goes off the rails. And it's because Lynch left after, what was it, after the 8th episode of season 2? Whenever they revealed Laura's killer, that's when he was out. And he didn't come back until the finale, season 2 finale, to direct and do heavy rewrites to what they had written already. Summer change. Basically, at the end of summer, I changed jobs, same company, different. Oh, cool, man. Moved to a new city. Awesome. So a lot of big changes. Where are you moving? Because Ginger just moved recently. But you're moving to a new city. Where you going to be? Oh man, I love Piper Laurie so much. She is such a great actress. Well, was, but she was such a phenomenal actress. As much as Carrie, Ginger, that movie still got to come. There was supposed to be that deep dive on Carrie that I was supposed to do months ago. I'm not a fan of that movie. It'll come eventually, but her performance is one of the best things about that film for me. Is Piper Laurie's performance as the mom, and then her in this, and Dario Argento's Trauma, which is such an underrated Argento movie. She gets a great kill in that film too, with her decapitation with that awesome device that Tom Savini did the effects for that film. And her head rolls after it's decapitated and it's still talking as it rolls. That's so cool. Piper Laurie was great. There's something really sexy about like a middle-aged woman or older woman like that in control, that takes control all the time, and she knows exactly what the fuck she wants, what she's doing, just does it and takes it. Something's hot about that for me. Moving to Tulsa, nice. Where you live now? I forget. Is it that far? Because Tulsa is never been, but it's fucking hot. Are you used to the heat like that? That's a big change if you're not used to that heat. I was looking at Texas and houses. I was looking at Texas and houses. I was looking at houses in Texas. The other half said nope. Don't do it. Wait till the new one comes out, then do the back to back. Sounds right. There's a new one? There's another Carrie? Are you talking about Carrie? There's another one? because that's interesting. If there is, did we have fucking 3 already? Okay, so all right, so you're used to it. You're in the Texas area. I knew you were in the South somewhere, but I wasn't sure how far west. So I'm not sure how you feel like how used to that desert type heat. So yeah, you used to 2 hours away. Okay, nice man. Just try to eliminate as much stress in your life from other sources as possible because moving is the most stressful thing there is. Oh, that's right. I heard that. You're right. Flanagan is doing a Carrie remake. Jesus, man. 4 Carries, which, again, De Palma's film is a classic, and it's very, very well made. It's just not a story in general that I ever loved. I have the novel. It's sitting right there, the first book that he wrote in order. It's a good story. I like the novel better, actually, but it's not a film I ever loved. Then you have the TV version with Angela Bettis from May, and she's been in a few other things too. And I love her as an actress, and I really like that TV remake of Carrie. I might even enjoy that more than De Palma's. Not saying it's a better thing in any way. It's a TV movie, but I love Angela Bettis, and I think she really nailed the role. Then you have the Grace Moretz version from 2013, which was forgettable completely. And now we're getting another one. Who's playing Carrie? Did they announce it? Hey, what's up, Russ? Bruce. What's going on, man? How you doing, brother? Catherine Isabel is in the TV movie. That's right, she is. Yes. Which, God, she's so hot. She was one of my crushes, like horror crushes from Ginger Snaps when I saw that movie. Then American Mary and Freddy versus Jason. I got to try to get her on. I reached out once. I just sent a message on Instagram. I doubt she checks it. I might have to go through a rep or an agency. I've been trying to get the Soska sisters for years, for like 2 years. They've promoted interviews of mine with Buddy Cooper because they did rewrites on or they wrote for the Mutilator too, and so they know I exist. I don't even know how much I want to talk to the Soska sisters. They don't seem the friendliest of people. Sure they are, but I don't know, something about them. Kind of like how we were talking about Eli Roth the other night. Yeah, exactly. Russ, I was just going through them. We got the original from De Palma, then we got the TV version with Angela Bettis, which I like. Then we have the Chloe Grace Moretz version from 2013. Now we're getting another one from Mike Flanagan. But it's Flanagan, and he's never done anything. He's probably the most consistent director for me of the modern age, of the last 20 years or so. Everything that Mike Flanagan has directed and put out, I adore. And I still haven't seen most of his, we were talking about this recently, his shows. I saw Haunting of Hill House and a little bit of Bly Manor. That was it. I never had the time to really binge his shows, but every movie of his, I've been watching Flanagan's films since Absentia came out, and I really enjoyed that when that came out. But then Oculus was the movie that really made me say, this is a great fucking director. Like, what a great second movie. And I was all apeshit over Oculus. I love that film. And then everything he's done since has been excellent. So there's very few directors that I trust, like big directors in the horror genre, to trust them to fix any type of problem. Like if with The Exorcist, he was supposed to come in and redo the colossal screw up they did with the Exorcist Believer. I don't think that's even happening anymore. But I would have liked to see his version because it's Flanagan. Same with this. Carrie, if it's being done by Flanagan, sure. I'll definitely check it out. Honestly, it might be my favorite one. Depends on who he casts and how he pulls it off. But okay, Summer H. Howell is playing Carrie. I do not know her. I don't think so. Let me see. Summer H. Howell, Carrie. Okay. Where's she from? Has she been in other stuff that I might know her from? Oh, okay. So it's a series with Flanagan that it's going to be, because it says here Carrie a new Amazon series. So it's going to be a series by Flanagan. Interesting. And that gives me even more faith in it, that it'll be very well done, because one, his shows have gotten rave reviews from critics and then from fans of his, and just in general, even though I haven't seen many of them. And all his movies get excellent reviews. He's one of the most highly regarded directors in horror, I would say, at this time. And he's amazing at adapting Stephen King stories. I mean, Gerald's Game is a book that I read years and years ago, and I loved the hell out of Gerald's Game. And I said, when I was reading it, there's no adaptation for this. I said, I don't know how they'd make a movie for this. And that was something everyone said for years, is how it's impossible almost to make a movie adaptation of Gerald's Game. Mike Flanagan comes in and he absolutely nailed it. I mean, the adaptation for Gerald's Game is so well done for a story that is all one person and her hallucinating and her inner thoughts. Damn. I mean, I was so blown away. And that degloving scene, oh, God. There's so little gore that makes me wince. Almost none. That scene, that's one of the few in all of horror. I don't know what it is, but when she starts cutting her hand here, then has to squeeze it through the handcuffs, and it, oh, the way that he pulled that off and they did that effect, that's gnarly. That's so fucked up. Like, that's so messed up to think of that happening to you or having to do that to yourself. What an effective scene. I remember because they were talking about getting that one whistling girl, the whistling girl from Hereditary. Charlie's character. I mean, the actress plays Charlie. I don't know how she looks in real life. I don't know if that's how she looks or if they made her down significantly. I've never looked at like a picture of her outside of Hereditary, but I don't know how I would have felt about her being Carrie. But they would be more like the book, but then they chickened out and picked a good looking gal. I mean, that's the positive, is that it would be an unattractive girl, but that's where I don't know how she really looks in real life. But they can easily make her down and make her however they want with makeup and stuff to look like the rundown Carrie. But you know as well as I do and anyone else does, an ugly ass Carrie in a Carrie film ain't getting as many views. It's just not. It's just how it is. The cast is stacked for the remake. Yeah, I gotta look more into this whole thing. There is no film stuff in Johnny Depp's house. It's all music stuff. Yeah, I mean, well, he's a great musician. Okay, I've seen Hunter x Hunter and Curse of Chucky. What was she in Curse of Chucky? One of the mental patients? I'm guessing. That makes sense. Oh, now we got Hank, Norma Jennings' husband, a dickhead husband. He's released from prison on parole or probation. Yeah, parole. And now we're at One-Eyed Jack's with Blackie, who runs the place for Ben Horne, and she is a heroin addict. Oh, we got Audrey meeting Blackie. She's the new girl now. She infiltrated her way in, but she doesn't realize how deep in she really is here. Because this is some scary stuff that happens to Audrey. Yeah, he does. I mean, that's why as soon as I saw Amazon series, I said I have a lot more hope for it being a great thing because he definitely does have that freedom and he's able to carry feels like a story and should be a story that works in a series format because you can really grow the characters and then really grow and let the story breathe naturally and organically. So I might end up liking this version more than any other version of Carrie. Man, Audrey is looking fine in that black dress. And Russ, you've never seen Twin Peaks? That's crazy. I would have thought in all your years that you would have checked it out. You should absolutely watch it sometime. It's one of the greatest shows ever. And right up your alley, too. Really weird and trippy at times and just crazy stuff going on. It would be right up your alley. I can picture you guys smoking a joint or something on the couch, watching the show. Definitely check it out. Speaking of, welcome to One Eyed Jack. And now they're checking it out. Cooper, I love Cooper's little disguise here when they're playing the tables at One Eye Jacks. And then you have Big Ed, who has the big 70s porn stash as his disguise. And they start grilling Jacques Renault. Is it Jacques? It's Jacques, right? Yeah, it is. I always confuse the brothers because there's three of them. There's three Renaults, aren't there? There's Jacques Renault, the fat fuck here, who was there for before Laura got murdered. Then there's the other Renault, who is the one who really kidnaps Audrey and tries to kill Cooper, who is Michael Parks, the actor, who went on to do so many things, but he was in Tusk. He's the old guy who turns Justin Long into a walrus creature in Tusk. So we have Michael Parks as I forget what it is, Jean Renault. Is that maybe Jean? Something like that. And then this is one more Renault brother that we never really see, or maybe is only brought up. I'm foggy on the details for that. Then they have Dr. Jacoby here, which I love how he always wears 3D glasses, and Ginger, that for that whole interpretation of the show being a metafiction and commentary on television. Jacoby is the psychiatrist. He always wears the two different shade 3D glasses. One lens is red, one is blue, because he's a psychiatrist and he sees the characters in multi dimensions, not just one dimensional characters. Like that's how everything starts fitting together with that whole theory. And he addresses almost everything and it all makes complete sense. It's like, yeah, why is this psychiatrist this weird eccentric dude always wearing 3D glasses, like the red and blue tints? And that's a great explanation in the context of the whole theory and interpretation, which all makes sense as it is. But they try tricking him. Maddy, the cousin, dresses up in a blonde wig, so she looks identical to Laura, and her, James, and Donna are together. She makes a phone call and makes Jacoby think it's Laura. Then he ends up getting attacked in a few minutes when he goes to meet her. Then they feel awful about it. They keep fucking this investigation up and starting little things and causing little roadblocks and problems for Cooper and Sheriff Truman so many times throughout this show. Donna especially. I mean, I know it's Laura's best friend. She's just trying to help. James too, but they fuck up a lot. They really cause some issues. Oh, that's right. And now Bobby sees her. Bobby sees Maddy and thinks that it's Laura. Because, I mean, you can't blame him. They look fucking identical. Especially her, the blonde wig. It's Laura. Oh, hey, Emily. How you doing? Glad you made it. I know you were looking forward to this. I'm sorry I had to move it around a few times. But glad you're here. If you want a timestamp and have a way of watching it, let me know. We're in actually season 1, episode 7's right about to end in like 2 minutes. And then we have the season 1 finale. Because for some reason, when I was putting the stream together initially, it said that there was 7 episodes. And the season 7 was the finale. And I always remembered it being 8. And I was right. It is 8. So we just watched season 1, episode 7. Then we got the next one is the finale, and then we'll do season 2, episode 1. Donna and James drive you crazy. Yeah, I mean, just some of the decisions they make and stuff. It's, come on. Like I said, they fuck things up. Like, they don't mean to, but they do. And now Bobby plants the cocaine in James's bike, which is so obvious. I mean, it's obvious that it's a plant, and that's why in the next episode, Cooper just like knows it is and lets him go. No one's putting cocaine in their gas tank and shit like that. I would never want to use cocaine that's soaked in gasoline or something like that afterwards. It's regardless. Hey, what's up, Haunt Court? Where's Annie? Where is Annie indeed? Is she in future or is she in the past? All right, that is the end of episode 7. Episode 8 in 3, 2, 1, go. Like I said, anyone needs a timestamp, let me know. How's everyone's weekend? Or how was, I should say, as it just ended a minute ago. Or this very second. We're at midnight. Everyone's saying hi. Nice. So yeah, I don't know why it was saying 7 episodes in season 1. And that season 7 was the finale. Because even when I was making the thumbnail up in the description, I was saying to myself, no, there's 8 episodes. So I don't know if early on when it first aired, maybe they aired episode 7 and 8 together as an hour and a half finale. If anyone knows, maybe that was the case. Maybe that's where the confusion came from. But so we'll go through the first episode of season 2. Or who knows? Maybe we'll go through episode 2. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling. I have got work done a few days ago, so I got a light load tomorrow. I don't really have to do much. So maybe we'll go through episode 2. Because they're all only 45-minute, like regular episodes. The finale's not like 90 minutes or something like that. No, yeah, it's the season 1 finale that we're on right now. But the season 2 finale is just one of my favorite episodes of television. I was just saying a little bit ago how season 8 of The Return was one of the greatest episodes of TV. That was one of the greatest things I've ever seen on television. And the whole Return in general was one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life, watching a TV event of any kind. Yeah, episode 8 with the atomic bomb blast and all of that. What a work of art, all of that. Before I spell, yeah, this is all spoiler talk. You can go right ahead. There's nobody really watching who hasn't seen it, and there's some people that are just hanging out and talking and not watching. Most things on my channel are spoilers, like unless it's like a new movie and it's a review, and I'll make sure I put it as a spoiler-free review or just like initial quick thoughts or something. But 90% of the movies I review are spoiler discussions and deep dives. Even if they're movies I haven't seen before, like they'll just be long 20, 30-minute watches of me basically watching it blind. I consider The Return the best TV or movie. Yeah, absolutely. TV, yeah. I mean, I was saying earlier that The Sopranos, Breaking Bad, and The Wire and Twin Peaks are I think, the best dramas or non-comedy shows of all time. So The Return, yeah, absolutely. Because Breaking Bad ended 2013. 4 years later was The Return. Yeah, so the last decade for sure. I got 6 days of work at me. Oh yeah, and you were you were on vacation for a bit. Which how was that, by the way? I know we've talked and shit, but we didn't get into how much of a blast you had. 6 days of work ahead of you though, and you have to catch up on editing my YouTube stuff because I had not. Oh, that's right, you had no internet. That sucks. You ever figure out what the issue was, or just was acting like a dick and then it decided to work again? It really is. The bar is very low. No, I thought The Return was mostly a masterpiece. Even the Dougie stuff, which a lot of people I know don't care for, and of course it can drag, but it's supposed to. That's kind of the point. And the point of watching one character in that show, Dougie, or Cooper and Dougie, not really knowing what's going on, but he's having all good things happen to him. He's winning money like crazy, Mr. Jackpots, and he's helping people. What are they called? The gangsters. The guy from Prison Break and John Belushi or Jim Belushi. I forget the names. There's whatever brothers, but he helps everyone that he's around. Bushnell he discovers the insurance scams and stuff. So it's all like positive stuff, and it goes with Lynch's whole point that we love the negativity in TV, and that it's like get back to Evil Coop and get back to the Lodge stuff and get back to the weird stuff. So it makes sense for why it's there and structured the way it is. But I absolutely can see why people didn't care for the Dougie stuff going on for way too long. Let's see. Catch up on this. Season 2 finale is amazing. You never liked Breaking Bad? I can see it. I know people who don't care for it. I think it's just flawless from beginning to end. Same with The Sopranos and same with The Wire. The Wire is another flawless one. Even though, what season is it? Season 5 with the school system or with the media. And season 2 with the docs. Those two I feel are a little tiny notch below the others. But besides that, it's mostly a perfect show. Sopranos is a perfect show. Twin Peaks is Twin Peaks is a mostly perfect show that got killed over and over again by the greed of ourselves, the audience of this show, and our love for it, and led to a bunch of weird stuff and stuff that's not that great in season 2. Besides that, I think the whole property is perfect. Fire Walk with Me included, and the missing pieces. See, I've never got into True Blood, Russ, and I remember when it was big. I'm not and I say this all the time. I'm not and you know this by now, Russ. I'm not a big vampire guy. Like there are handful of vampire films I love, but it's not like a go-to genre for me or anything like that. But funny enough, that's like the more serious grown-up version. But I actually, and I always joke that I love the Vampire Diaries, the CW show from back in the day, and that's the only Kevin Williamson production besides or thing created by him besides The Faculty that I enjoy. I don't like anything else to do with Williamson. Oh, the vacay, it was fucking amazing. I would drop everything and go back in a heartbeat. The food, the people. You sent me some pictures, like a picture or two. It was gorgeous. Food, the people, the weather. Yeah, not to mention the gummies and the beer. Sounds awesome, man. Agree about the Dougie stuff. Yeah, the Dougie stuff is it's a very interesting part of the return, for sure. But like, if you do want to like just watch the return straight through, absolutely. Even as somebody who understands why it's there and appreciates it and likes seeing him act like that and good things happen to him, it goes on for way too long. Absolutely. It goes on for way too long. So, but that was his intent. Again, like to stretch it out like that on purpose. It's basically like was Lynch proving a point, saying, oh, well, I'm going to just keep on showing this. Same with the scene in that episode that ends with the floor being swept at the roadhouse for like 3.5 minutes. And it's just one shot of him sweeping the floor for minutes on end. He did that on purpose. Just as another thing. Just here, you're going to watch this. And he used to do that a lot. And I love that with Lynch's work. Tulsa King is a great show, Russell. Did season 3 come out yet with that? Because season 2 just ended, what, like 6 months ago? Or maybe it was longer than that. But the first 2 seasons were great. I really like Tulsa King. Maddy's death gives me just a weird feeling every time. It's haunting. It's so haunting. Maddy's death, and especially, I mean, Laura's in Fire Walk with Me. That's obviously because they couldn't go that far or show that extent on TV. But David Lynch had all, full reins to go wherever he wanted for Fire Walk with Me, so we get a much more dark and disturbing murder sequence there. But for TV, back in 1990, yeah, that's dark. That's really dark and really eerie. You're going back to Missoula, Montana. So fucking eerie. And just Ray Wise plays it so well. And Cheryl Lee screams. All of her screams. She's a phenomenal actress, and she has one of the best screams ever. She should be called a scream queen, despite not being in any real horror movies or anything like that, just for her screams in this property as Laura Palmer. I also like meta commentary about how lame it is to constantly revisit the past. Yeah, that's what I love about, well, obviously what we all love about all of Lynch's work is just how you can interpret anything in so many different ways. Your own interpretation is valid and everybody else's is. And that's what is the whole reason why we do this and why I do this on the channel and have a channel and talk about movies, is because we love sharing our different thoughts and opinions and dislikes and things that we like, and we don't always agree. And some things, this movie's a masterpiece. No, that movie fucking blows. And that's what sparks conversation. And when you talk about something that you are passionate about, especially when you have a group of people like our little horror family and community here on YouTube that are so passionate about film and music and just movies in general, but horror especially, it's the best. That's why we do this. That's why I do this. It's just the community is the biggest thing. Love True Blood. Yeah, I gotta watch that show. Season 5 of The Wire was a letdown. Yeah, that one was a little. Yeah, I'm a little far behind here in the chat. Breaking Bad was awesome. Better Call Saul was different. You know, I still have to finish that. I really, really liked it up until season 4 or so. And then I just never watched the last season and never finished the show. So I don't know why. Maybe I was just burnt out at that point on Breaking Bad universe because I didn't really care too much for El Camino, the movie. I feel like, yeah, it's cool that we got a little more closure with Jesse and stuff, but it wasn't really necessary. That felt more of a, I don't want to say cash grab in that instance, just because I do respect Vince Gilligan a lot, but it felt more of like he couldn't let the show go yet and the story go, which obviously he couldn't because then he went on to do Better Call Saul. But just with the movie itself, it was like he couldn't let Breaking Bad itself go yet, and he had to do an extension of it. It's good. It's just I've seen it once when it came out, and then I never watched it again, and never really had a desire to. If I rewatch the show, I end it with the finale of the show, and that's it. This is where they pick up Renault, Jacques Renault, who's such a moron. This guy, he spills everything to Cooper. Trusts this guy and spills the everything about the plan, that everything that they do. One Eye Jacks, the girls, the cocaine, everything to some dude just because he says, "Oh, you don't know who I am. The boss never talked about me," and then he just lets it all go. Man, what a stupid, what a terrible criminal. Terrible. Every season of Sons of Anarchy is another show that I never got into, actually. I watched the first season or close to the first, like almost all of the whole first season, and then I just stopped watching it. I'm not a biker guy, and I was never really into that. So it didn't really appeal to me on a whole, like the premise as a whole. So I never went back and finished any of that. But I've heard nothing but great things for the most part. Breaking Bad, I watched the whole thing. People went on about how great it was, but I must say, I think it was kind of stupid. Yeah, I mean, like I said, everybody has their own likes and dislikes. I can see it. If people aren't into that, first of all, if people aren't into like drug stories and like criminal stories, not saying that you're not, but that whole, you know, that whole audience, it's not for them. And there's people that just won't like how it's shot, how it's run, how it's directed, how the series goes. There's a lot of people who don't care for Breaking Bad. I think it's a masterpiece, though. I never got into the Vampire Diaries. I was forced into it. All right. It was like TV watching. I was like raped to watch TV, to watch that show by my daughter's mother back before my daughter was born and when we were dating. We're not together for ever since basically a year after my daughter was born. But she wanted to watch the Vampire Diaries. And I said, I don't want to watch this because it sounded just like Twilight. And I don't care for those movies. They're all right. They're fun. I can watch them once in a blue moon. That's a really blue moon, by the way. But nothing I love or like I'm dying to see. And then we started watching it. And then I actually started sneaking episodes going further on my own because I was getting into it. And by like the second season or so, I was loving that show. But I have a lot of nostalgia for that show nowadays. So I rewatch it now and then. Blood Vessel is a cool. I've heard of that one. I don't know if I've seen it. She was in Vampires. Cheryl Lee. I mean, it's got vampires in the title, so we'll count it. We're going to call it a win. Got Blood Vessel on Blu-ray. It's good. Very highly influenced by the strain. Yeah, it sounds familiar, but I don't think I saw it. I definitely did not see it. Yeah, James Woods. I have a mixed mixed feelings on him and how I feel about James Woods. I think he's a very, very good actor. I just don't like his roles in a lot of things and the characters he plays. But I always give him praise for one, Videodrome and Quitters Inc., the segment from Cat's Eye, right? Or Stephen King's Cat's Eye, the anthology. But I always give him major praise whenever I watch Martin Scorsese's Casino, because I've seen that movie so many times. And even in my video on Casino that I did a few months back, I forget every time I watch that film that James Woods plays the dickhead boyfriend of Ace's wife in Casino. Always forget it's James Woods. So that's just a testament to how good he does in that film, because I never remember it's him. I never think, oh, James Woods is in Casino. He just plays that Lester Diamond, that's the name, plays that role so well that I always have to give him a special shout out for that movie. Vince Gilligan has a new show coming out called, I heard about that. What is it called? Pluribus? Pluribus. Sounds interesting. All right, we're mostly caught up on chat. I still want to do Walter White, make mad money, then retire. I know, it just sounds so appealing, right? Planet of the Apes box set, didn't like the remakes, too much CGI. Yeah, but I could see that. I mean, I've seen a few of them. I think the only reason I saw the last two Planet of the Apes films were I was traveling on an airplane, and they were movies that they had on the plane to watch. That's the only reason. Same with when Star Wars Part 8 came out, Episode 8. I only watched that because I was on a plane and it was on there. And I didn't even get to finish it because the flight was shorter than the movie. And I never finished Part 8, actually. I never saw Part 9 either. I never went past 7 for Star Wars because I really disliked that film. But that's a whole other thing. But Planet of the Apes, the original, is a classic. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he plays himself. But that's why him in Casino always gets extra praise from me, because he's not just playing James Woods. He still is in a way, but it doesn't look like him. It doesn't sound like him. Like he really, it's a different role than just him with his face out there with glasses, with or without, like he always plays. So Lester Diamond, I think, is a more memorable character that he has played in his career. Salvador with James Woods and Drew. Oh, I remember seeing that. That movie sounds familiar. That whole thing with Belushi and James Woods. All right, we're caught up here. We have Josie Packard on the screen. She gets sucked into a door, into a drawer handle or a drawer knob later in the season for some stupid reason. That was after Lynch left. That was when they didn't know what to do, because Lynch wasn't there anymore, and he wasn't writing. He wasn't into it at all because they forced him to reveal Laura's killer, and the mystery was gone. The goose that lays all the golden eggs ceased to exist. And then he just wasn't into it. And then they tried to just do weird things because it felt like something David Lynch would do, because it felt like a Lynchy thing to do, a Lynch-esque thing, which I think is a testament to how influential Lynch was as a director. The fact that we have a term, Lynch-esque or Lynchian, terms to describe something that's like his work. So that alone shows how influential he is, or was. I mean, God rest him. I still can't believe he's gone. I really can't believe that David Lynch is no longer with us still. That's my biggest loss of the year, like celebrity-wise and stuff. Ozzy was up there, though. That's right. Then we got this whole blood oath pact thing between Josie Packard and Hank, Norma's husband, because they're in on the blackmail thing together. I don't care for Hank's character too much. The guy plays a very good dickhead husband role, but like where his storylines go and stuff, like, I don't really care for Hank. Here's Catherine Martell, who I adore her, and Pete, the great Jack Nance, which I saw Eraserhead as a kid, but maybe 9-10 years old, something like that, because it was on late night. I saw that film way before I saw Twin Peaks, and I had no idea the first time that I watched maybe the first season or more. I had no idea that it was Jack Nance, that it was the same actor who played Henry in Eraserhead. I had no idea it was the same actor. Just because the hair, the iconic hair in Eraserhead. And that was a decade earlier. Over that. But I love Jack Nance. I love Pete Martell's whole character. What are some of you guys who are really big into Twin Peaks? What are your favorite interpretations and theories for the show? Like we were talking earlier a little bit about Twin Perfect's video, about it being the meta commentary on television itself and everything, which I think is a very, very compelling and very interesting theory. I don't think it's the end all be all way to look at the show. Like that's it. It's solved. Twin Peaks explained, the way that like he says it in the video. But I think it's one of the best and most expansive and cohesive explanations out there. But then someone mentioned too a little bit ago about the other interpretation with let me bring it up. Horne, you brought it up. I don't want to go so many. Oh yeah, about how lame it is to be constantly revisit the past. Then there's all the Mark Frost stuff that you have to take into account. And he was always big into, ancient gods and mythology and all of that. So there's so many layers to this, but when you look at it as just what we see on the screen, just the story as it unfolds, no meta stuff on top of it. What are your best interpretations for this, like in the supernatural, paranormal, weird way? Like the lodges, what are they? The fireman, who is he? Things like that. Things that have an explanation in universe in the show, not as they represent this because of the theory that it's a meta narrative, if that makes sense. Let's see. Yeah, it sucks. He was a very unique filmmaker. Yeah, I mean, one of the greatest. Next Door, 1984. I definitely did not see that. Never heard of that actually either. Very intelligent, just so unique. There will never be another filmmaker like Lynch. Absolutely. There never will. There never was before him. There never will be again. And it's one of those people, I've never met the man. Unfortunately, I was never able to get him on the channel. I reached out once. He was sick already at the time. But I don't have to meet that guy to know that he was just one of my favorite human beings on the planet. Just from every interview I've ever seen with him on the show was Gordon Cole. The weather reports I used to listen to every morning, and everything about him just resonated with me so much. I just think he was one of the greatest human beings. Obviously, I didn't know him. Who knows how he could have been behind closed doors, but from all accounts, he sounds like he was just a spectacular man. Lucy is such a hysterical character. The way she talks, it reminds me of somebody else, but I can never think of who, like another voice. We got Renault in the hospital. Oh, is this when he mentions the scorched? Oh no, Jacoby's the one that mentioned the smell of scorched engine oil, which we know has to do with the portal to the lodge, or I was going to say lodges, but that's another thing. Is the red room, this place right here? Do you think that it's both the Black Lodge and the White Lodge? Because they're supposedly shadow selves. Like the Black Lodge is the shadow self of the White Lodge. And that place where the fireman is in the Return on the Purple Ocean, in the castle where it's black and white, do you think that's the White Lodge? Because I know those are two different viewpoints. Some people think that the lodge, both lodges are represented here in the Red Room, and that it's a completely different thing where the fireman is on the Purple Ocean. And some people think that that's the White Lodge where the fireman resides. And that the Red Room here and stuff, everything we see there, that's just all the Black Lodge. That's what I always looked at it as. It's the waiting room. And they straight up say that. But there's a theory that shows them like a comparison of whenever there's a statue present. Like, is it this one? No, there's not one on there. Whenever there's one, I forget the statue with the arms that are missing and stuff that's in the centerpiece, like between the couches. Whenever that's not there, it's the Black Lodge. But when it is there, it's the White Lodge. That's a theory I've heard. And I kind of want to subscribe to that because it sounds right. I don't think where the fireman is in the Return, which you haven't seen, Ginger, right? The Return. He's in that castle on the vast ocean of consciousness, as Lynch would refer to it as, or the universal field. That purple ocean with the castle, I don't think that's the White Lodge. Some people think that is, though. For a while, I was subscribing to that theory a bit, that maybe that was the White Lodge, and we were finally seeing it in season 3. But over maybe another watch of the Return, that's not the White Lodge. I don't think it is. Yeah, it connects both of them. Hey, what's up, Cal? How you doing, brother? That's right. You haven't finished the Return. What did you get up to? What episode? Have you seen episode 8 at least? The halfway point? Or, well, 9 would be the halfway point. Because, man, that episode. Unbelievable. Hey, Chin, Tizzle. How you doing, man? I would say happy Monday, but it's not the next day till you go to bed. That's always been my rule. And there's been times that I don't go to bed for 2 days. So it's the same day that it would be 2 days before that. Oh, it was Friday, it was Sunday now? No, it's still Friday. We go to bed. All right, now it's Monday morning. It's like time travel in the lodge. Time doesn't work the same. I'm so mad that they took down that one of those episodes off TikTok of the series that I did of Twin Peaks with the log lady stuff. But oh well, it's on Instagram though. It's still up on there in full. Man, Peggy Lipton was still looking fine in this show. I wasn't around for like her career and like what she was known for and how like long it's been at the time when they did Twin Peaks since like her real popular work. And you know what I'm saying? Like how like a veteran she was in acting when they casted her in this. But all I know is that she is gorgeous at her age in this. And she has such a great personality. She's like the mother hen of Twin Peaks. No, I think it was maybe 5 or 6 episodes in, but I am going to watch it all soon. Yeah, you told me already. I keep putting you in the mood for it with all the Twin Peaks talk and stuff lately. My log has a message for you. That sounds so wrong. Yeah, I'm sure it did back then too. And the log did have a message. That's a whole nother thing. It's the log lady's husband who died in a fire, which we know fire is bad, depending on the intention of the person who makes the fire. But we know the lodge entities, the fire is pretty much like modern day electricity, and electricity is how they travel and all that shit, which again, you can't even explain it condensed like that and have it make sense to people who don't really know the show. But for those who do, you get it. Electricity, fire, all that stuff. Fire walk with me. Lucy just distracted me because she came in talking about some random thing like she always does. She comes in, the couch on this side is on the left instead of on the right side. And I went to go tell Dave about it, but Dave wasn't there and he had to understand that I had to go. Oh, man. I don't know how they dealt with her all this time. She's a sweet woman, and I guess she's good at her job, but I couldn't deal with that every day for all those years. Are you serious? Have you seen the werewolf film Skinwalkers and Where? Where I have seen Skinwalkers? I don't think I've seen Skinwalkers. Where is good though. I like Where. That is an underrated werewolf movie, which is another subgenre of horror that I'm not a big fan of. I'm not a go-to werewolf guy. There's maybe a dozen werewolf films I can count off the top of my head that I love. And that's it, really. I mean, the original Wolfman I never watched, but that's a classic. American Werewolf in London, The Howling. I think those are the pinnacle ones there. And then you have fun ones like Ginger Snaps, even Ginger Snaps 2. I enjoy. The third one is awful. The Ginger Snaps Back the beginning. That was a fun video though to do. I think I did that for the 2-year anniversary of the channel because Ginger Snaps was the first review I ever did when I started 3 years ago. Then I did on the year anniversary of the channel, I did Ginger Snaps 2. Then closed out the series like a few months ago on the third year anniversary of the channel with the prequel or the flashback in time one that sucks. Terrible movie. But I don't have many other, like Bad Moon is a great one. Dog Soldiers. What's wrong? Oh wait, are you talking Skinwalkers? No, I'm thinking Sleepwalkers. I was thinking of what we were saying earlier. For a second, I said, did I misread that? And it was he was talking Sleepwalkers again, and I said, no, I don't know what that is. But no, Skinwalkers. No. Ginger Snaps 2. That's right. I remember you liking 2 the best. I think you might have been in that premiere a year plus ago with Ginger Snaps 2. So I remember you mentioning that. Oh, it's terrible. The beginning. It's not good, man. Come on. that movie, or maybe it was that. Maybe it was one of those two videos that you were in the premiere for, I think. And we were talking about that. That one's bad. Two, I really do like. You don't think Bad Moon is good? Me and Cal always have great meetups on a lot of opinions, and then we have ones that we just clash completely every time. Um, why do you not like Bad Moon? I really like Bad Moon. Exist is a cool Bigfoot horror film. Yeah, Exist is a great Bigfoot film. That's a movie that. Oh wait, we got Leo about to kill Bobby here, and he gets shot from the window by Hank, and that turns into a whole thing. They try to figure out Cooper. Bobby sees Hank though, and Bobby ends up getting up. And then now, from this point, Leo's a cripple and new shoes, new shoes. He's like drooling. He's all fucked up for the rest of the show. But Exists is a great show. It's not a show. It's a great Bigfoot movie. There's not many of them. I mean, there's a few found footage ones that I don't care for myself, like the Lost Coast tapes. I don't think they're that great. I mean, I don't think that movie's that good. Then you have what's the other one? Willow Creek, which has a really good scene in it with great sound design and makes it really tense if you're wearing headphones for some reason, because it really submerses you and immerses you into it. But if you're not like into it like that and you're not wearing headphones for that one scene, which is like 10 minutes long, I don't think that's a good movie either. I mean, that's not a great found footage film either. I did a video on Willow Creek forever ago, said the same thing. It's not good. That tense scene is very tense, pun intended. Besides that, nothing really good in that. What you been up to? It's the weakest, but it's not terrible. It's pretty terrible. There's some good stuff. You know, I always pick some silver linings and positives. At least one or two positives I try to pull out of any movie. Unless it's really that bad. Like if there's like an awful one and there's no positives whatsoever, which is so rare out of 1,200, more than 1,200, almost maybe 1,300 movies I've reviewed on this channel. There's been maybe 3 or 4 or 5 tops films that have no redeeming qualities at all. In any way, absolute trash, would never watch again. Like only 5 maybe out of 1,300 almost. That's pretty good. I can always pick some type of positives and silver linings out. Howl is good, yeah. Howl is a good one. That is another good one. Yeah, Exists is great. It really is one of the best. Yeah, Howl. So I gotta check out Skinwalkers and add that one to the list. Up now we got Leland, which we don't know is Leland at this point. Killing Renault. Jacques in the hospital bed. Oh, they do show his face. That's right. So this is when you first see that it's Leland. But you don't know he killed Laura, is the thing. Which you would see in an understandable way to an extent if he thought Jacques killed Laura's daughter and then he killed this dude because of it and took revenge. I mean, it's understandable. It's not right or anything like that, but I would understand 100%. Someone did that to my daughter? Are you serious? Absolutely. Kill that guy immediately. But you don't know that he killed Laura. But that's when he smells the Jacoby, who's also in the hospital. He smells the scorched engine oil, which is a sign of Bob. And that's in the little portal that leads to the lodge in the woods. And the log lady also brings a container of it at one point in season 2, right? In the finale, I think, and says that her husband had it. And so her husband is a very mysterious character, the log woman, the log lady, I should say. We don't ever really find out who her husband is, right? Maybe in like this, it's been forever since I read The Secret History of Twin Peaks, the novel. But maybe they mentioned something in there, but I know he died in a fire, and that's why she always carries the log around, because it's part of the woods. And I don't know if his spirit is somehow in there or his energy, something like that is how I interpret the log lady in the log. But she always has this knowledge from her log that I always say is her husband who died. So who was the husband? That's a question that I never really looked into or tried to figure out or thought of until now, actually. Like, who exactly was her husband? Was he someone like Major Briggs that worked for the government or worked for a top secret program that knew things, that knew stuff about the lodges or the weird stuff going on, not just in Twin Peaks, but in the world? Or was he just some random person and had like maybe an experience in the woods and then he died and got trapped in the log? I don't know. But I really think that's an interesting character that we never find out anything about, really. We got Cooper heading back to his room at the Great Northern. Got his hot milk, which that milk, that leads us to another question in a few minutes. He finds the note under the door. Because we have the phone ringing right now. And then he picks it up, says it's him, Cooper here. And he ends up going to the door. And then when he goes to the door in a sec, he gets shot. And he survives because he had his vest. And what was it, like a tick or like some type of bug that was under it? And he ended up having to pull it up. It saves his life. But he gets shot. And it ended on this cliffhanger, season 1. Now, we're about to start season 2. We have the old man, right? That real old man who's at the Great Northern, who comes into the room, and he also says later on that Gumulike's going to come back in style, and we see him when Cooper gathers everybody together before they reveal and arrest Leland and bring him in and everything. Who is that old man? Is that the fireman? Is that the giant? Just a different appearance for him? Are they one and the same? Which is spoken at one point, but not in relation to them, I don't think. But are they the same? Because there's a scene in the lodge when the old man is there and then he turns into the fireman. I mean, you can argue the old man was there or then the fireman came in the next shot. But to me, it's the same person, right? Or entity, the fireman and the old man, because he's there when Cooper gets shot and he's looking down on him and he's saying something, that help is coming. I forget what he says. We'll find out in a sec. But he walks out of the room and then the giant appears to Cooper and gives him all the clues. So I think it's the same entity. Just maybe that's like a human host version of the giant, kind of like Leland is like the host for Bob. Maybe the fireman takes up residence in this old fucker for some reason. I don't know. Let's find out in episode 1 of season 2 of Twin Peaks. I'll do 3, 2, 1. go. So 3, 2, 1, go. I think they are the same entity, just like a different appearance. There's a found footage film I want to check out, Bodum, which looks. I've heard that. I've heard of that. Actually, I heard that and I added it to my list, one of my lists, as under the found footage section. Because on all those few lists I have subgenres and stuff. They're like slashers, supernatural, and stuff. And I have that under found footage. I got to check that out. Skinwalkers is playing on YouTube. Oh, nice. Hey, Rocky. How you doing, honey? How was your weekend? Wolf with Jack Nicholson. Yeah, that's another good one. I haven't seen that forever. We just started season 2, episode 1. Like literally just now. The theme music is playing still. Because I wasn't sure. I got confused with the amount of episodes in season 1 because I always knew it as 8. And for some reason, when I put the stream together and I was putting the description together, the episode guide said 7 was the finale. So we watched episode 7. The finale was just episode 8 just now. So now we're up to the premiere of season 2. And we'll probably end this after this episode. 3 episodes. I think that's working good. Every 2 weeks. 3 episodes. Because that means there's 22 in season 2, I think. Let's see. Should say it down here. Pretty sure it's 21 or 22. 22. So I mean, like by the end of the summer, which would be cool because then we'd have the return. We'd be heading into the fall, pretty much, which is fitting. Glad to catch you here. Having good. Yeah, glad that you stopped by. Having a wonderful weekend. Good to hear. Yeah, I had a good one too. It was my mother's birthday, 68 years old, yesterday. So I was hanging out with the family. Got my mom to watch. This is why I moved this from last night to tonight. I was watching Zombie by Lucio Fulci with my mother. I got her to watch it for her birthday. I was hanging with her leading up to midnight on her birthday. And she's not a huge horror fan, but she'll watch movies now and then, and she'll watch stuff with my sister now and then, like when they get together. So she'll watch things, but she's not like big on gore and gory movies. So of course I said, let's watch Zombie by Fulci. She did not care for it. She said, I don't know how the fuck you watch insane shit like this or something like that. But she did like the music. And a few other things. She just couldn't watch any of the gore. Or any of the kills, or the whole wood spike through the eye sequence. She's looking away for the fucking a minute and a half. And then she won't believe me when I say it's over. I'll be like, no, it's done. You can look now. No, you're lying. I'll be like, I'm not lying. Because I have done that years ago and many times in the past if we watch something. Oh, no, it's over. Don't worry. The bad part. Then she'll look and, oh, come on, fuck you. No, she won't believe me now. I'm not looking. No, it's fine. I will let her know that people said happy birthday. Yeah, I mean, I love Zombie too. Thank you, Russ. She is 68. My dad turned 67 the beginning of this month on the 8th was his birthday. Then my sister's birthday is August 2nd. And then mine's on September 20th. But theirs are all, the three of them are very close together. Here we go. Here we got the old man. And he walks in. He's the giant, right? That's what I'm always going to believe until someone gives me another compelling theory. Cooper's on the ground. He's been shot. He's signing for the, that's right. He brings him the milk. So he's signing, and it's so surreal because he's shot. He's laying on the ground. The guy's paying no attention to the fact that he's shot or anything like that. And then as soon as the old man leaves is when the giant appears to Cooper. So they're the same thing to me. It's definitely the giant. Why is he talking to him like this and stuff before appearing as himself to give him clues in a dire life or death situation? That I don't understand. Maybe that leads some credence to why they're not the same people. But let me know if you have any theories on the old man and the fireman or the giant, if they're all the same. Thank you, Jason. Oh, you got a year on her, huh? August 5th, you will turn 69. Nice, Russ. One of the coolest older people I know. I've heard about you. And he just turns around and walks out. Then he comes back in. That's right. It's so funny. He says it again. He gives the thumbs up too. Yeah, there's a lot of questions I have about this old guy. And Major Briggs finds him later before they reveal Leland being the killer and possessed by Bob. Well, we know at that point he's possessed by Bob, but they don't. But Major Briggs says, "I look who I found, like wandering along or something like that," and he brings him to the meeting at the Roadhouse. I think is that right? So I don't know what the hell he is. It's really bothering me. This watch along concept is pretty cool. I still have to finish season 1, but we'll be coming back. Oh yeah, this well, first of all, welcome, David. And yeah, this our whole community, horror community here on YouTube does watch alongs and watch parties like this, either with just me up here and people in the chat hanging out and watching, or just multiple of us up here on the screen all watching at the same time. It's a pretty big thing the last few years, and at least in the movie community and the horror community here on YouTube. But yeah, usually every other weekend we do I've been doing 3 episodes. So we just started season 2 now, and this is the last episode for tonight. So it'll be episode 2, 3, and 4, season 2, 2 weeks from now. Usually Saturday nights. We watched Piranha 3D. I don't know if you're a horror fan, but we watched Piranha 3D last night or 2 nights ago. And we have Piranha 3 Double D coming up on Friday. And I got to record Feast 2, not Feast 2. I did that one already. Feast 3 and Poltergeist 3 are the next 2 deep dives coming. I haven't been able to record this weekend because of my mom's birthday and shit, but now I'll be able to get those out probably tomorrow. I'll probably record both of them back to back, which is something I don't get to do often, and then edit them and try to maybe double premiere it or something like that. But Feast 3, absolutely. From everything I remember, it's not as good as the first two. I mean, the whole trilogy is fantastic, as I've been saying throughout the videos. But I think Feast 3 is the least good out of all of them. I think it's not the best. It's pretty much the same level as 2, but I feel like not as much happened. And that's the only reason that it brings it down a bit. But it's a great underrated trilogy. So much fun. And Poltergeist 3 is my favorite in that trilogy. Which I'll probably do Poltergeist the remake also. After I do Poltergeist 3. Because I did a video on Poltergeist and Poltergeist 2. So we need to do 3. And then the remake. It's different enough. I didn't care for it, but I'm willing to watch it again. Then we'll be done with both those series. Then we can move on to the next one I want to do is Phantasm. Finally. I've done the first one forever ago. We still have 2 through 5 to do deep dives on. So that's the next series that I'm doing once we finish Feast and Poltergeist with the third of each. I should be having that. Me and Felipe Mora talked again, so sounds like we're going to try to record one more time one day this week, the interview. And if he drops out, then he's going to call me and I'm going to record the audio. So at some point by the end of this week, that interview with director Felipe Mora should be out in some format because he's been having connection issues for the last 2 times that we tried. But phone seems to work fine. But also I got to get back in touch and message Deborah Brock, the director of Slumber Party Massacre 2, who said she'd like to come on and that July worked for her, end of July. And I keep forgetting until like late at night now to message her and remind her. So hopefully we get her on soon. And that's my favorite in that trilogy, Slumber Party Massacre 2. Oh, here we go. So we got the owls are not what they seem, and there's a man in a sleeping bag, and all the clues without chemicals. He points that the fireman gives to Cooper, and then you got Blackie over at One-Eyed Jack's. We're about to have that creepy scene with Ben Horne ends up coming in, and then Audrey, his daughter, is behind. She's on the bed behind the friggin' curtains. And she has to put that mask on, and it's so disturbing. And he has no idea it's his own daughter that he's like playing cat and mouse with in a sexual way like this. It's so weird. Hold on, let me see. Yes, I love that. Sounds so dope, bro. I just subscribed. Oh, well, thank you for subscribing, man. Welcome. If you've watched the Lynch movies, I recently watched Blue Velvet and enticed me. Oh, yeah. Lynch is one of my favorite directors of all time. I haven't done a video yet on Blue Velvet, but I have done videos on Eraserhead and Mulholland Drive and Fire Walk with Me. There's a Lynch playlist. There's fucking over 100 playlists. Any series in horror, or sometimes I'll venture out of horror a little bit, comedies here and there, or like some other weird movies, but mostly horror. But any type of series or franchise, there'll be a playlist for it, or by decade too. I mean, that's the thing too. I'm very OCD when it comes to organizing shit and having everything the way that I want it. So there's a David Lynch playlist. Yeah, I love Lynch. Phantasm was my first VHS that I bootlegged. Oh, I think you've told me that before, Russell. Yeah, Phantasm is fantastic. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, the Driller Killer is great. I did a video on that a while back. That's a very good one, actually. I grew a lot more appreciation for the Driller Killer than any other time that I watched it in the past. That's a really good film. And the effects are really good in that, with the when he's going around drilling the homeless people all over the city on the streets, and then he goes to the one that's just laying there and drills him through the head, and it lingers on it for so long. And the sound design is excellent because the drill's spinning, and then when it ends, it echoes out like the sound design is excellent in that movie, especially for the budget. The effects, the gore, the kills, everything. I haven't seen many other Abel Ferrara movies, though. I think that's the only other one I've seen, King of New York. I think that's the one. I've only seen one other film besides The Driller Killer by Ferrara. He's got the giant looking down on him. Oh no, now the giant just disappeared. And he's talking to Diane the entire time. And then he gets his ring taken away by the giant, who says you'll get it back when you find the clues that he gives him to be true. Which is a nice parallel with the Owl Cave ring and how that ties you to the lodge in some way. I don't remember him hitting start on the tape recorder after he got shot to talk to Diane here. So I don't know if he just talks and it records, or if he just always has a recording. Maybe he did, and I missed it. Yeah, with the Penn brothers. I always thought Chris Penn was a better actor than his brother. I loved Chris Penn. He was so underrated. I mean, don't get me wrong, Sean Penn is fantastic. But Chris had something about him that I can't really put into words, but it clicks for me, and I could just tell people go watch his monologue at the end of Reservoir Dogs when he starts saying the man you just killed just got released from prison. He could have fucking walked. Well, that whole monologue. That's what made Chris Penn fantastic. I can't put it into words. Just something about his acting style, something about the way he got into the role, something about the way he delivered his lines. Oh, it was a shame that he passed so young. Christopher Walken did a Abel Vampire film called The Addiction, but only a small role. I've heard of that movie. I've never seen it though. Speaking of Christopher Walken, that's why one of many reasons I want to finally have this talk and record it for you guys with Felipe Mora, because he directed, besides The Beast Within, The Howling 2 and The Howling 3 and some others, Communion with Christopher Walken from '89. So I really want to talk to him about how Christopher Walken was working with him. I have to replay that real quick. I love that list that Lucy runs down to Cooper. Sheriff Truman, Lucy, and who's that? Hayward, Dr. Hayward. Yeah. They were all looking down over Coop in the hospital. He survived the gunshot. You know, he got help. 3 slugs shot at him. And then he says, what's been going on? And Lucy starts listing everything that's gone on. And then he says, how long have I been out? That's so funny. He's about to. I rewound it to hear the list because it's a lot of stuff. Like, and it's a real fun way to recap for the audience at the time when this aired. Leo Johnson was shot. Jacques Renault was strangled. The mill burned down. Shelly and Pete got smoke inhalation. Catherine and Josie are missing. Nadine's in a coma from taking sleeping pills. And then he says, how long have I been out? That's so funny. One night. He says we haven't had this much action in one night since the Elks Club fire of 59, which makes me interested in that fire. I think they mentioned that in the book, right? The Secret History of Twin Peaks. Don't they mention that fire of 59? Like I said, it's been forever since I've read the novel, but that sounds familiar, them talking about that. He's trying to get out of the gurney. That puddle right there looks just like, one, the top of a cup of coffee, and two, the entrance to the Black Lodge or the waiting room, the red room, whatever you want to call it, with the sycamore trees, with the engine oil substance in the middle of it. Love the beast within. The transformation scene is really cool. Yeah, dude, that's right, because you've been gone for a bit. I had Brian Usna on a few weeks ago. I know you're a big fan of Society, and he produced Reanimator, From Beyond, Dolls, and directed Society, The Dentist 1 and 2, Return of the Living Dead 3, the Reanimator sequels. So check that out if you haven't seen it yet. Because I thought of you, because I know that you love a lot of his films. But yeah, I'm trying to. We had connection issues with Felipe Mora, so he kept dropping out every minute. And then because we tried it live, like every other interview, and he was dropping out. Tried for 10 minutes, wasn't working, ended it. Then we tried recording it like a week ago, week and a half maybe, and same thing, dropping out every other minute. Then he asked for my number. He called me on the phone, and our connection was perfect. So now I was looking into a way to record it just audio only. So now we're going to try, looks like Tuesday. I have to message him back, but he said Tuesday works for him. I'll let him know at the time. So some form of interview is happening Tuesday that I'll be recording with Felipe Mora, then uploading at some point this week. Walken was funny in the film The Rundown. Oh yeah, that's a fun movie. And he's always fucking great. Walken is just, I don't want to say one of my favorite actors, but close. Close to that. He's not a favorite actor of mine, but factor, like, because of his, I don't think he has amazing range or anything like that, and he plays himself a lot of the time, especially later on in his career. But factor his personality in, and he's up there with favorite actors for me. He is so funny. Another dream reference. Maddy with Sarah. Strangest dream last night. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, when she's describing the rug, then the effect from the dream, something happens on the rug and it freaks her out. I can never sing this. I can never sing this song. But oh, I love Ray Wise so much. And this is one of my favorite scenes of his in this show. Those little man. I can't fucking sing it. Never could. It's such a tongue twister. Fantastic, fantastic. The fact that he was able to sing that shit on repeat real fast, that's even more props to Ray Wise. Yeah, here she sees that little effect on the rug. She said it was Laura when she was just describing the dream to Sarah, Maddy. She said that I had a dream and it was the rug. It was right here. And then she said, Laura. But then you see it actually happen in reality to her here. And this effect comes across the rug. It doesn't look like Laura, though. It's just like some weird ripple effect that comes across the carpet. I don't know if I'm missing, like if there's like a hidden picture of Laura in there or something, or if it's supposed to be a shape of something of relevance, but it just freaks her the fuck out, is all I know. I don't know if it is supposed to be Laura in some way because it looks nothing like her. And he's still singing this song. This is such a great scene, man. Him with the Horne brothers. Jerry starts fucking doing the worm. Ben's tap dancing on the desk. This show has so much heart. Oh, and his hair is white though now. So that's a thing that he's got to explain to people. Why is your hair white overnight? Which is something we see in so many stories. Yeah, The Deer Hunter is a fucking masterpiece, that movie. Time to get our skates on. All right, man. Have a good night, Russell. Good seeing you as always, brother. Have a good rest of the weekend. For you wake up and it's Monday. I love how Cooper pieces together so quickly, just like everything else. And that falls into the whole meta narrative that he is a surrogate for us, the audience, because he knows everything that he has intuition on is something that we've seen already. We saw what happened here at Leo's house. We saw Bobby almost get killed by Leo. We saw Hank shoot Leo, and we saw Bobby get away. So he's able to, he has that intuition because we saw it. We, the audience, already saw it. So hence he knows it, and he's able to put it together so easily. The TV was pushed back, and Shelly's only 99 pounds soaking wet. I love all of that. That's a great little scene. Oh, this is when Andy finds the boots. I mean, the shoes, new shoes. The scene, the shot with Andy like walking like dazed and confused like that after he steps on the plank and it hits him in the face. That cracks me up every single time. That's too funny. He did a great job. And of course, it's super over the top with everything in this show. He's still going. And then we got the great late Miguel Ferrer here. Agent Rosenfield. Oh, God, I love Albert. Yes, later, Bruce. So, does Russell still have his old account? Or he just started a new account on YouTube? That's what I forgot to tell him. I forgot to tell him that he still has a membership with the channel here active under his other account. And then you should cancel that if he's using this one now. So I don't know if this is an old account or what happened. I got a message, email him. He's still shaking the shit off, Andy. He's still bouncing around like a friggin', I don't even know what to call it, like a fat ballerina. That's the first thing I thought of. He's like bobbing up and down and stuff. Now we're at the double R. We got stupid Hank waiting tables. Interesting though now, because now Donna starts smoking just like Laura did. So she starts taking on traits of Laura. And she wants her sunglasses too, which Maddy gives her. Ding, 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 ding. One of the best scores to a television series is this show. All the music in this show. But we were talking Dexter a little earlier. Dexter has one of the best, I think, soundtracks throughout that series. Dexter has a great score. All the music. There's so many good compositions in Dexter. Yeah, see, she starts smoking. Turns into a bit of a bad girl, Donna. Then this is, I think, the episode here where we meet the Mrs. Tremont and her grandson, played by David Lynch's son, who was the characters are also in Fire Walk with Me, the film, but it's not David Lynch's son who plays the grandson in the film. He does, though, in the show. And that's always been a big topic that I've always been super interested in, is the Tremonts and the Chalfonts. Because what we know about them is we have the old woman in the show here with her grandson referred to as Mrs. Tremont. That's what she's called by Donna. Then in Fire Walk with Me, you see her and the grandson in the convenience store meeting with the other lodge entities. And she's called Mrs. Chalfont in that. Then you see Cooper go to Deer Meadow, where Chester Desmond disappeared when he touched the Owl Cave ring under the trailer. And when he asked what trailer was there, he says Chalfont. That's what Harry Dean Stanton's character, Carl Rod, says to him. Says Chalfont. So he says, actually, now that I think about it, two Chalfonts. The people who owned it before were also called Chalfonts. So we have two Chalfonts, and then we have Tremont. And then in the finale of The Return, Alice Tremont is the name of the woman who opens the door at the Palmer house. My big question is, who the hell is this woman that we see later in this season who is the other Mrs. Tremont? The one who opens the door when Donna goes back after meeting the original Miss Tremont and her grandson in this. She goes back after Harold Smith commits suicide. And the log lady just spit the gum out at the wall. That made me laugh and got distracted. And she puts the new gum in. But that gum you like is going to come back in style. That's a little reference there. That other Chalfont woman, I don't know who she is or what that means, but it's very similar to the ending of the show, The Return, with the door being open and it's not who they expect it is. And it's the name Chalfont is brought up and Tremont. We got Albert on screen. I love Albert. Miguel Ferrer was such a great actor. That movie, Nightcrawler or Night Flyer, Night Flyer with him. That's a great vampire flick. That's what he says. What was your? It was a wood tick. That's what it was. Why his bulletproof vest was like hunched up a bit above where it should have been. Well, if you don't want two black eyes on a regular basis, I suggest you make some kind of peace with rural life. Great. After square dance, maybe we don't take any right. Albert is one of my favorite characters in this entire show. Albert's sense of humor and his personality is so good. It hits, everything hits for me. Everything that comes out of his mouth. Yeah, Night Flyer. That's a great movie. I should do a video on that. I haven't seen that movie in forever. Oh, that sounds exciting, actually. Maybe that'll be a breakup video between Beast 3 and Poltergeist 3. Night Flyer. Thanks, Ginger. That's an idea. That's a great film. It's a lot of fun. Cool effects too. When the look of him as a vampire and with the long tooth and how his mouth opens. Oh, that's great. Night Flyers was another late 80s film. Catherine Marie Stewart was in that. It's really hard to find. Very alien-esque. I think George R. R. Martin wrote the book. Interesting. I did not know any of that. You're talking that's a separate night? Yeah, that's a separate Night Flyer movie. Or a separate movie called Night Flyers. Oh, here's Philip Gerard, the one-armed man who Mike inhabits. And he sells shoes. He literally sells souls, which is brilliant. Also, souls, the rubber soles are, what's the word I'm looking for? Insulators of electricity, and will ground you if you're wearing rubber sole boots. It all the meta stuff lines up perfectly. I'll send you that video, Ginger. Like I said, it's one that you'll have to watch in pieces, over time for how long it is. But man, it really goes there, and everything starts to make sense. Very Mosquito-esque. We were just talking Mosquito the other night. Okay, they found the coke that Bobby planted in his motorcycle tank, which he knew that. She even says fire reference Laura on the tape with Jacoby. That this guy can really light my fire, light my fire. And going over and over about fire. That's the line that, would you like to play with fire, little boy? Would you like to play with Bob? We hear Leland say that when he was growing up and near his family home on a lake or something, there was someone that he recognized as Bob, and that he said to him, "You want to play with fire, little boy?" So same line. James, I know you have the other half of Lord Palmer's necklace. I want to.
this was in Jacoby's office.
He asks James Cooper for the other half of the necklace, Laura's necklace. Again, he says, how? Like, how do you know that? He knows that because we know that, because he's a surrogate for us, the audience. He knows that he has this other half of the necklace because we saw it already. We saw that he has it.
But if he had the other half of the necklace, he would have given it to us to help the case. And it dawned on me. Something or someone frightened him off. He had that, so I asked him for it.
Is this the episode when they bring Philip Gerard in? No, I think that might happen a little later in the season. Because we're how far? Halfway into this? Oh, this premiere. This is the season 2 premiere. It's longer than the others. That's cool. Yeah, see, Donna has this whole bad girl thing. Lucy doesn't even recognize her. Hi, Lucy. The shade. Smokes a cigarette. Still looks fine, Laura Flynn Boyle. James is locked up currently. All right, brother. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good night, man. Good luck getting through the rest of work with all the stupid restrictions on websites that they give. James looks at Donna and says, wow. Wow, Bob, wow. Now, originally, because this is where the whole thing with Judy, I always go back to of what Judy is, because in the return, it's for me, it's obviously it's the mother as it's billed, the creature that we see a few times, especially in season 8 with the atomic blast, and we see it regurgitate and give birth to Bob and all the other egg sacs, the frog moth that ends up crawling into Sarah Palmer's mouth when she was a little younger girl. So, and we also see it in New York in the box that Evil Coop had built. I think that's why he built it, was to try to capture Judy. So we see, and then we see it attack the night watchman guy and the girl when they're fucking on the couch in front of the box, because sex seems to call Judy in some way, kind of like Jason Voorhees. Like, it doesn't like sex. If you have sex, you die. And then because they do that, Diane and Cooper, after they cross over into that other dimension at the end of the return, they have to intercourse between two worlds, and they have that weird, awkward sex. And that kind of brings them into that dimension where Judy is, or whatever you interpret that as. But the idea for Judy early on was for her to be Josie Packard's sister, if I recall right. So it's hard to really look at all the Judy stuff and get any type of definitive answer. I mean, just like with anything in this show, if you're looking at it from the meta-narrative perspective, then Judy represents closure and resolution. And that's why when Bad Cooper goes to see Philip Jeffries as a teacup, he ends up telling him when he's asking, who is Judy? You've already met Judy, meaning we've already met closure and resolution with the first ending of the series, with the season 2 finale. So all of that makes sense. But in the non-meta part of looking at the show and just taking it as all these supernatural things that are going on, who's Judy? it's the mother figure. But then what's inside Sarah Palmer? It's the frog moth. It just possesses her with darkness and evil, I guess, just like Bob. Maybe Bob was a frog moth. Maybe that crawled in, and that's how he started out. Maybe Judy just barfs up all these frog moths, and then they inhabit a host, which Philip Gerard says the word parasite, like straight up says parasite, and that he needs a host in the show here. So Judy, you would think, would be the mother figure, but the reason why I don't think there's a definitive answer that you can come to with it, even with the theory, is in Fire Walk With Me, and especially the missing pieces. Philip Jeffries is down in Buenos Aires, right? And then there's a scene before he gets transported to Philadelphia for that weird scene where he just stumbles in and then he was there but not really there. He's checking in and he mentions Judy and says, Mrs. Judy is expecting you, something like that. So that Judy is a real person, is a woman, not like just some negative force and stuff like that, Jowday, that we get in the return and hear about Judy. So initially Judy was some actual person, because we also get an important line of dialogue in The Missing Pieces with the whole scene with Philip Jeffries. He ends up looking down at the calendar and sees the time, the date. He says February 1989, which explains why when he looks at Cooper and says, who do you think that is there? He thinks it's Evil Coop. He thinks that Cooper's trapped in the lodge and that's Mr. C, until he sees the date on the calendar after telling the tale of where he's been with the convenience store. Then he sees that it's 1989 and he realizes that is the real Cooper and that Laura hasn't even been murdered yet. And Cooper obviously hasn't gotten trapped in the lodge yet. So that explains all of that. But he also says the line, Judy is positive about this. Again, hinting at the fact that Judy was originally conceived as a person, as like a contact in Buenos Aires that Philip Jeffries was like kind of trying to infiltrate her criminal organization, something like that. And I know Judy was supposed to initially be Josie Packard's sister. So that's where I rest with Judy as on a whole, because the Judy mystery that we have floating through the return and most of Fire Walk With Me, it's not the same. Like, it's not consistent. It wasn't planned like that from the start. And the whole thing with Judy being this extreme negative force known in olden times as Jowday, and seeing it as the mother figure that gave birth to Bob and all that, it doesn't fit with those one or two little lines and instances in The Missing Pieces and Fire Walk With Me, when Judy's talked about like it's an actual just regular person. So I don't know what they initially planned with that whole mystery about Judy. But the Tremonts and the Chalfonts, like I was saying a little earlier, that's one of the most interesting aspects of the mysteries of the show for me, is who the fuck are those people? Who are the Tremonts? Who is Mrs. Tremont, the old woman, and her grandson, who's practicing magic? So he's a magician, like the Fire Walk With Me chant. The magician longs to see one chance out between two worlds. Fire Walk With Me. So there's a reference there. The son's a magician. He's also the son of David Lynch, who represents the director in the show here, in the meta narrative. So he's probably another surrogate, the grandson for the director, for Lynch. We see the primate, the monkey behind the white mask in Fire Walk with Me with the grandson when he removes it, even though that's a different actor. That's not David Lynch's son in Fire Walk with Me. But what are they? Mrs. Tremont and the grandson. Because in Fire Walk with Me, they're the Chalfonts, and there's two Chalfonts. In the show here, we meet them as Mrs. Tremont and her grandson. Then when Donna comes back later in the season with Cooper, it's not Mrs. Tremont. It's some other woman who calls herself Mrs. Tremont, but says she has no mother. She lives there alone. She don't have no children. And we never see her again. Then we have we have another Tremont, the third one, at the end of the show. Alice Tremont, who lives at the Palmer house, who tells Cooper and Carrie Page that the prior owners of the house were the Chalfonts. So I don't know. That's always intrigued me a lot. Who are they? Who are they? Just aliases that the lodge entities use? Just names that they use? Or it's just indicative of their presence? The old woman and the grandson try to help Laura in some aspects, in some ways in Fire Walk with Me. They give her the painting. The grandson tips her off and says that that Bob is on to her, that he's going to find the diary or found it already. He says he's heading towards the hiding place. So they do try to intervene and help a bit, but they're also in Philip Jeffries' whole recount of the convenience store meeting. They're right up there above the convenience store with Mike and Bob and the Arm and all the lodge entities, the woodsman, the jumping man, the electrician. So are they good or bad? Like I always say with all of the lodge entities, I don't think there's any besides Bob, who's just a murderous lunatic, and Judy, which supposedly is this ancient negative force. I feel like all of them are kind of gray area, kind of neutral. They're not good or bad, kind of like how aliens would be, like a real advanced civilization that looked at us, kind of like how we look at ants. We would look at them and say, all right, cool, ants, but we wouldn't really care or anything unless we had to intervene in their existence for our own benefits or our own reasons. That's what it seems like a lot of the lodge entities do, that they're not really straight up bad or good, excluding Bob and Judy, which she's not really a lodge entity, but whatever. They seem to be pretty neutral because Mike tries helping Laura and helps Cooper in the return. So they have their agendas, but it changes, basically. Like Mike, he doesn't want Bob to possess Laura in Fire Walk with Me, but he doesn't care if she dies. He knows throwing the ring in is going to kill her. It's going to make Bob kill her. He don't care about that. So, I mean, is it because he's part of the whole bigger picture here? He knows that Laura is the one, so to speak, that Laura was born from the firemen to combat Bob. Maybe that's why he's cool with Laura getting murdered and everything, just throwing the ring in, as long as Bob doesn't corrupt her, as long as Bob doesn't possess her. That makes sense if you look at it that way. But then they conjoin together, the Arm and Mike, the man from another place. When he puts his arm on Mike and they speak in unison in that creepy fashion, say, Bob, I want my Garmin Bozia. So they could still come together as one. And it still seems like they want their Garmin Bozia, their pain and suffering and stuff, no matter what. Whether it be Mike, whether it be the Arm, or whether it be Mike and his arm combined, it seems like they always want their Garmin Bozia, especially the Arm. But Mike seems to be able to resist it at times. But I still really want to know more on the Tremonts and the Chalfonts. Who are they? Are they like gatekeepers in a way to the lodges? Because Miss Tremont, or in the movie, she's called Miss Chalfont, gives the painting, like I said, to Laura, and it's like a portal into her dream that she has that night. So are they like little gatekeepers? You also see the grandson with the white mask on right after Leland leaves where Teresa Banks was in that parking lot in Fire Walk with Me. And you see the grandson magician with the white mask hopping up and down, just like the arm says in the convenience store, up and down. But he's hopping up and down like a bunny rabbit while you hear the black dog runs at night. Or I think it's runs at night or hides at night. I think it's runs. But that repeats several times as the kid jumps around and then disappears. So I don't know if they're like some sort of gatekeepers for the lodges. That makes a little bit of sense. That makes sense. Makes a little bit of sense. But I'm not sure. We never really get a lot more info on them. Oh, this is when Cooper finds out that Nadine lost her eye because of Big Ed. That's why he's felt guilty and stayed with her all this time. Big Ed's a great character. You really want him and Norma to succeed and finally get back together and be together throughout the entire run of this show. And Albert's checking his watch when he's telling this serious story and stuff. They're all into it. Big Ed's talking about the hunting trip and whatever, that how he shot her eye out. And Albert's looking at his watch like, oh, we almost done here? He's so funny. What episode is that? I don't know if like that episodes are weird on Prime here. Because this says that there is 38 minutes left or so of the first episode. It's already been an hour of this episode. So is this like a long series premiere, or is this combining 2 episodes on Prime like they do sometimes? So I was saying to myself, so this has been a while since this episode started. I think that's probably what it is. But man, Albert's so funny. Oh, this is when he sees his one of the clues. The smiling bag. Sees the body bag hanging on the wall in the hospital. I love Michael Keane too. I really wish he came back for the return. I think he just didn't have any interest. He wasn't an actor anymore for a long time. Pretty sure he retired from acting, Michael Keane, a decade plus before the return. I mean, I love Robert Forster, and I'm really happy we got him in the return as his brother. Jack Nance is great. Pete's in the hotel bed. Half the town's in the fucking hotel beds. They're all in the hotel hospital beds. They're all in the hospital beds because of what happened in the last episode. All the action that they had happen that night. Everyone at the mill breathed the smoke in, and they're zooming in on the hospital food, and it looks just like, and there is cream corn on there, just like the Garden Bozio. Oh, Norma just mentioned some type of chocolate pie or something, and it sounds delicious right now. Love some type of like chocolate pie or like a cheesecake. That would be good. Let's see. Yeah, 35. I mean, Ed is such a nice guy. I mean, that whole story he just told about what happened to Nadine and what he did to her by accident, 100%. But the fact that he stayed with her and he's a sweetheart to her. He's such a good husband. I mean, yeah, he does have this whole unresolved romance and feelings for Norma, but they never really crossed the line into they're not fucking and stuff that we see and know of. But he's a saint, man. Oh, we got Major Briggs here. This is when he gives him that really inspiring talk and tells him about that vision that he had of him. This is a really beautiful scene. Like the bonding between him and his father. And I just love Briggs. I love Major Briggs. He's such a great character. Great actor, too. How was work? He doesn't even know what the fuck his dad does. Yeah, that's right. He asked him right here. That's classified. That's crazy to me. I mean, I understand, but I mean, like, I have a daughter. She's 11. If she was older, though, and stuff and understood, in her 20s, maybe something like that, and I had some type of classified government job, I could never imagine not telling my daughter anything or having to say it's classified to my kid. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just weird to me. I get it. It's just how it is. It's the job. I just can't imagine that. I can't imagine keeping anything from my kid like that. I have to say, I can't tell you what I do. It's classified. Like secretly, better not. That's why I said though, wait till they're older, because like when you can't be spilling that stuff to them when they're young, and they'll go around bragging friggin' security clearance breaches and stuff to their friends. But when they're able to understand the severity, here he goes with his vision. I love the way he talks. Something about the way he speaks. As soon as he starts talking, every time his character's on screen, yeah, I just get like captivated.
That way, it blended so seamlessly with the original construction. One would never detect any difference. Returning to the house's grand void came a knock.
Now he's one of the few characters that's really been to the White Lodge, and he goes missing later in this season. He shows up 2 days later, I want to say, because he just appears in his family's kitchen or the living room, and they're sitting there at the table, Bobby and the mom, and he's just there. And they're like, "Oh, Dad," and he's like, "How long was I gone?" And they say 2 days, and he says, I forget if he says felt shorter or felt longer, but he's makes a comment on the time not feeling right. I'm pretty sure he's been to the White Lodge. And he mentions the White Lodge before he disappears to Cooper. But man, the way that Dana Ashbrook plays this, when he's telling him his vision and says that, I saw it was my son and stuff, and then he starts tearing up and stuff, hearing this from his father. Dana did a great job in this scene. Thank you, Dad. Like all of that, he's tearing up. He did a great job there. I always thought he was such an underrated actor, Ashbrook. The pie was exceptional as always. And the owls are not what they seem. I know there's some people watching out there and stuff that maybe you're just not comfortable commenting yet or anything, but thank you for watching and hanging out. We will be doing this through the whole show. Probably cap it with a Fire Walk With Me watch after the return. Or maybe we'll do that after season 2. We'll do Fire Walk With Me and maybe even the Missing Pieces watch alongs. And then dive into the return. Because the film, in my opinion, is the most important part of this whole series. If you go into the return, even if you've seen the first 2 seasons of this show 10 times, and you haven't seen Fire Walk With Me, and even some of the Missing Pieces, you won't understand most of what's happening in the return. Fire Walk With Me is essential to understanding and making sense of what goes on in the return. Jacques Renault. Oh, the donuts they got. They always have donuts jam-packed on the desk table. See, it's crazy how Cooper just gives this whole synopsis and rundown of what happened that night. And that Leo and Jacques were there and tied her up. And then we believe Leo returned to his Corvette and left the girls behind. He runs down the whole night that she was killed. And Renette was almost killed. It's surreal and weird seeing it being described, knowing Fire Walk With Me exists and having seen that so many times and seeing it happening before your eyes in Fire Walk With Me. That's one of the most disturbing, vicious, brutal, just uncomfortable scenes to a movie for me is Laura's murder and Renette's torture and stuff, that whole scene in Fire Walk With Me. That is such an emotional gut punch. And that includes when it continues into Leland going into the lodge at the end and giving it to Garambozia to the arm and seeing the angel, Laura seeing the angel and all that. The whole ending is just unreal. Andy's fucking crying again. This guy can't stop crying. And when I say donuts are on this table, I mean fucking donuts are on this table. There's got to be 50 donuts on this table. No exaggeration. There's got to be 50 donuts. And there's they're stacked on top of each other. And it's a long table, too. That's like a good 10-foot table. It's pretty long. You got donuts running up the whole thing, and they're stacked on top of each other too. And there's 5 people in the room, and I don't think there's 3 other employees at the sheriff's station in the whole building right then and there. Who's eating all these donuts? Where are all of these donuts going when the day ends and not even close to any of them have been eaten by all of the people who work there? That's a cool shot. The lights coming through the cabin. Who's this now? Oh, it's Pete and Truman. So Pete Martell's out of the hospital, but he's still coughing his lungs up from smoke inhalation. That's right. They don't know where Josie Packard is, right? I had to leave on emergency business to Seattle. This is what Josie left a message of. I'll call you when I arrive. The way that he talks, Jack Nance, it's great. Yeah, then they get into, that's right, they get into this whole thing with Eckerd and it's her husband or her ex-husband, something like that, right? And like there was a murder he was involved with. All that stuff I don't remember, I don't care for. It's nothing that interests me. All that, the threads and plot lines and storylines with Josie Packard in season 2. And Catherine's still missing. So he thinks that she's possibly dead. But we know she's a Japanese man now. He's a Japanese dude. Yeah, still going. Because I just looked a little bit ago. I was like, it's got to be over this episode, right? And it's now at the hour and 11 mark. There's 20 something minutes left. The premiere, I guess, of season 2 was like an hour and a half or something, hour and 40 minutes. Unless it's Amazon Prime combining 2 episodes together and calling it one, which it does sometimes. But yeah, it's like an hour and almost 50, basically 2-hour episode, the premiere for season 2. We got the great Jack Nance on screen talking craziness. How's work? Oh, now he thinks that Catherine's dead. He's another saint of a husband, this guy. Pete, all the shit Catherine gives this guy every day of his goddamn existence. This guy you would think would be the most miserable man on the earth, but yet he's so happy all the time. He's always in a good mood, and that's what makes you love Pete Martell. Because God, Catherine, what a bitch she is to this man. He is, like I said, a saint, and she just shits on him left and right every day, morning, noon, and night, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Anytime they're on screen together. Oh, that's right. Now you see Josie's. I don't know what he is. If he's related to her, or if he's just some bodyguard. There's some guy, the killer Japanese Yakuza dude, who's like looking after her. Jerry's funny. The scene with Jerry Horne in The Return when his he's lost in the woods. And he says, he's like, you can't fool me. I know this place. I've been here before. And his foot starts talking to him and saying, I am your foot. And all of that is some crazy shit. And he looked just how I would expect Jerry Horne to look 25 years later in The Return. Old dude, the little like beanie hippie with the big white beard, or gray beard. He's not Santa. That's right. And Josie had her whole plan also entails Hank, Norma's husband, which I said I don't care for his character really. Leo Johnson is indeed in a coma. Which Ben Horne okayed the hit on Leo. He was chopping wood. Another friggin' wood reference, which is also a fire reference. Any type of wood reference in this show is also a fire reference. Same with smoke and same with electricity. All basically means the same shit. Depends on the intention behind the fire. You're in a meeting now. Fun time. Turn the meeting on to Twin Peaks. Be like, all right, let's talk Twin Peaks now. Just start talking Twin Peaks and see how long it takes before you get fired. Before they say, what the hell is he talking about? What's up, Pat? We got the cat in the house and the cat in the hat. Cat, 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 said the gnat. What's up, man? I'm sorry my buzzing was keeping you up. I was expecting to be over, to be done by now. But it turns out that this episode, the season 2 premiere, is like 2 hours long almost. So we got like a bonus extra hour almost. And then we'll be doing Piranha 3 Double D on Friday. And oh, that's right, because I'm doing Twin Peaks every other weekend. So maybe Saturday we'll do John Dies at the end from 2012. Piranha 3 Double D on Friday, and Saturday John Dies at the end. How's that sound? I think that sounded all right. What's popping? Not much. Probably the vein on Blackie. She's about to get high. This woman at this brothel at One-Eyed Jack's. Audrey is at. I still love that dress she's in. I mean, I don't know why my opinion would change in an episode. That was a lot of fun, Pat. With the I saw your message too. I'm definitely down for that next Midnight Society episode. What's the movie called again? Because I haven't seen that one. Yep, you just oh no, that's a different thing. The Clovehitch Killer. Oh, you did that tonight? Nice. Well, IFC. Yeah, because it's the last Sunday of the month. Nice. How'd that go? Cut Bank, that's the name of it. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm down for that to do that show for sure. I'll host if you want to. You hosted the last one, whatever you want. Or Monty can host if the same people are going to join us. I mean, well, we're the Midnight Society. They ain't fucking host and shit. But let me know if you want me to, or you can, or whatever. Cool, good to hear. Maybe I'll go back and check some of the replay out when I finish this. It's early. It's only 2 a.m. Which is early for me. I'm a night owl. That's not always as he seems. But yeah, anyone watching who is a fan of The Black Coat's Daughter from Osgood Perkins, the film from 2015, 2017, it was released, 2015, with Emma Roberts and Kiernan Shipka. My buddy here, Half Cheetah, will view Patrick, the cat, the cheetah himself. Him and I have and our friend Al, the bat, the three of us have a show, The Midnight Society. And we just did a show recently on The Black Coat's Daughter, talking all about that movie with two other great guests that we had on, three other great guests, a set of twins, and Monty. So we had a whole little panel decked out talking to Black Coat's Daughter. So if you want to check that out, Pat, you can drop that link if you want. So we got like 7-8 people watching. A great movie. Excellent film if you haven't seen it. It was. I think everybody had a lot of great opinions and interpretations, which is always the benefit of doing doing the shows that we do like that, with the panels like that, because then you get all different opinions, all different theories thrown in. Like, I know you were viewing it differently with her getting her purposely summoning this demon, and I was always looking at it from a different way, that she kind of was just susceptible and got possessed. So all those different theories and stuff like that. And the twins came up with some cool stuff too, and Monty, and everyone was throwing in some really cool theories. I'll find it. I think I have it on my community tab. So tomorrow when I wake up, I'm going to try, by tomorrow night, I'm going to try to have out Feast 2 video on that. Feast 3. I keep saying Feast 2. We did Feast 2. It's out already. So if you're a fan of Feast and Feast 1, great monster flicks, creature features from the 2000s, check out those videos. And same with Poltergeist. We have Poltergeist 3. That'll be the video after Feast 3. So we got videos on Poltergeist and Poltergeist 2, the other side. Then I'll probably do the remake for Poltergeist, which I haven't seen in forever, but it's different enough that I'm willing to watch it again and give it its own deep dive. Probably not even deep dive for that video. That'll probably be a shorter one, just saying how much worse it is to the original in every way. Did I see you interviewed Jeff Kirkendale? I think one of them. Oh, yeah, that's right. You told me about that. Super cool, dude. Awesome. I'm glad it went. I think the Wonder Twins will be joining us again. Yeah, they're great. What's their names again? Is it Kira and Mina? I don't want to fuck that up if that was wrong. How do you spell me their names again? That's right. Then we have little Alicia Witt here playing Donna's sister. When they're all at Donna's house, she's playing the piano. Is that Alicia Witt? Yeah, right. That was her in this role as a kid. Yeah, that's what. And then Dune, she was in too. But Dune is one of those Lynch movies. I own Dune. That's one of the few DVDs that I still own. One of maybe like 2 dozen. I'm looking right at it on this shelf over there. I haven't seen that film in I don't even know how long, a decade at least. And I've never been a fan of the story to Dune. I've never been a fan of the recent Dune. And I was never a fan of David Lynch's Dune, even though I know it was heavily, not Lynch's vision. It was not the film he wanted to make. It's not one of his best movies either. But I do own it. Maybe I'll throw that on sometime soon. I forgot that. I had no idea Alicia Witt was in that. But she was in this. And came back for The Return. I think Gertrude is her name. And she, of course, was also the star of the first Urban Legend, which I've never been a fan of. Every time I see Ray Wise singing and dancing, it brings so much joy to my heart. Every single time. And he's such a great singer. He has a really, really good voice. But he sings all throughout this show and many other things that he's been in, movies, TV show roles. And then he just collapses. Fucking falls right on the floor. Because he just went into overdrive, dancing around like a lunatic. Mika and Kira. Okay. I switched to the beginning of the two of them with each other. What did I say? Like Kira and Mina? Yeah, Kina and Mika. Okay. That's right. Yeah, no, they're great. I had a really good time talking with them. And Monty's always a pleasure. Yes, she was also in Long Legs recently, which she did a good job. And she also didn't she play what other movie was she in? A horror film. I just had it on the tip of my tongue, and now I can't think of it. But there was something else that she was in. It wasn't really a good movie, but I mostly know her just from Urban Legend, just I think her most popular movie, and then being as a kid in this in Twin Peaks, and then Longlegs, which was great seeing her back, after The Return since 2017. Lara Flynn Boyle and Sherilyn Fenn were so beautiful. They really were on the first account, and they really did on the second account. I agree on all of that. Laura, especially Laura Flynn Boyle, I thought was so cute in this show, like around this period, and Sherilyn Fenn though she was more gorgeous. I thought, like, because there's different words and tiers, you know what I'm saying? So she to me she's striking. She's gorgeous. Lara Flynn Boyle was always very cute and beautiful to me. So it's a slight difference, but I feel like Laura aged nowhere near as well as Sherilyn Fenn did, and even she didn't the best. But I mean, Cheryl Lee looks great. She still looks really good. Oh, poor Audrey. Wait, that was Laura Flynn Boyle in Men in Black 2? Because if so, I didn't even recognize her back then with that movie. Hold on, I gotta look this up quick. No way. Get out of here. Get out of here. Holy shit. I would have had no idea. Yeah, the alien, right? Yeah. I would have had no idea that was her from knowing her and loving her from Twin Peaks. And I don't really remember Men in Black 2, but I did see it when it came out. And I've probably seen it once since. Totally forgot. Totally forgot. I had no idea that she was in that. That's funny. No, she really didn't. She let herself go. Oh, that's a weird scene. It's like waving. The giant's waving his hand in front of his eyes. Oh, in front of Cooper. He's like passed out like this. The giant's waving in front of him. Or the fireman, whatever you want to call him. So interesting how he appears then. He just went in front of Cooper, who I said is like this in the bed, sleeping. He goes up to Cooper, waves in front of him. Then he walks back and walks away. Then the light shines and opens up. And then he appears in the light and Cooper wakes up and sees him. So I always thought that was very interesting how he filmed this, Lynch. Why not just have him, he's sleeping and then the light happens and then he opens his eyes and sees the giant. He doesn't film it that way. He has the giant come up and physically wave in front of him like he's almost like he's manipulating his mind in a way. And then he just vanishes for a second and then reappears when the light opens up. That's very interesting. That's a very creative way of shooting this scene. And I don't know what it may mean, like on a deeper level, what he might have been thinking with that. Like I said, maybe manipulating his mind in some way or doing some type of mind work. He's telling him you forgot something. He asks what, and he basically, without saying it, says, "That's for me to know and you to find out." And puts his ass back to bed. Shoots a light at Cooper. And he's gone. And I'm so happy that the actor who played the giant did not die before The Return was conceived and filmed. If they had to recast the giant for The Return, I would have been very, very disappointed. Like with Philip Jeffries being a tea kettle. It's not a tea kettle, but that's what it looks like. And that's David Bowie. And he also had his voice overdubbed in that quick flashback scene we get to Fire Walk With Me when he says, "Who do you think this is there?" in the Philly office to Cooper in front of the others. He didn't want his voice used, so they were allowed to use the footage of Bowie in The Return for that quick clip, but they had some Southern voice actor overdub the voice and do the "Who do you think this is there?" or "We're not going to talk about Judy." That dialogue. I wonder why Bowie didn't want, the voice to be used. It's interesting. Because he was fine with the clip being used. So he was fine with him being shown. He just wanted it overdubbed. We see Bob screaming, howling at the moon. And the episode is finally over. Great episode. I did not expect it to be this long. Thinking that it was just 45 minutes. But this was, as usual, a great time rewatching these shows. We have Alicia Witt it ends on with her playing piano. which I guess she's a very talented piano player, because that's definitely her playing it. Like, there's no way that they sync to piano music up to that. So she's a gifted pianist. And I know he was sick, and I know that's why he wasn't, why he didn't come back to replay Philip Jeffries in human form, even if the story already was written for him to not be in human form, which I don't think it was. But I wonder why he didn't want. He was okay with the clip being used from Fire Walk with Me, but he wanted his voice overdubbed, and I thought that was interesting. Like, why? Like, I wonder what the reason was. Oh, hey, Albert, nice to see you. New name. Interesting. Bowie had an otherworldly feel to many characters he played. Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at I forget the character's name he plays, but in Labyrinth with Jennifer Connelly. All the movies that he plays, that he acted in and played roles in, were so whimsical and just so, it just caught your attention immediately, like from second one. And that's even how it is with The Prestige. That's another one. That's good pick. That's another one. The Prestige. Like, anything that he acted in immediately just grabbed your attention. And same with Philip Jeffries, the Goblin King. I don't know if I saw the Goblin King. I don't think I saw that one. But same with Philip Jeffries. I mean, even though he's just a normal looking dude, I mean, it's just Bowie looking like Bowie. He's an FBI agent. As soon as he walks onto that screen in Fire Walk with Me, you instantly, besides putting aside, oh, it's David Bowie, yay, and like putting that aside quick, then you instantly get into, all right, who is this and what's he all about? And then you hear everything that he says, and everything about the convenience store and about Judy's, and that Judy is positive about this. And I always confuse what lines are spoken like directly in the film versus what are from the missing pieces, because that whole scene is extended a decent amount in the missing pieces. And there's some lines that were cut out of that I think were really weird choices to cut out, like with the year, when Jeffries comes in and he looks at Cooper and points at him and says, who do you think that is there? He's saying that and asking that because he thinks that this is bad Cooper, that this is his doppelganger, and that Cooper's trapped in the lodge already. But he's not. He doesn't know this until he sits down at the desk and recounts the whole convenience store meeting to Cole and Albert and Cooper. And then he ends up collapsing on the desk like his head and looking at the date and says February 1989. And that's when he realizes that it hasn't happened yet, that is still the real Cooper, that Laura hasn't even been murdered yet, let alone Cooper getting trapped in the lodge. But that line is not in Fire Walk with Me. It's cut. It's only in the missing pieces, with him saying February 1989 and him making that shocked expression on his face. I always thought that was such a weird line to not include in the film, because that's so important to a lot of that whole scene, explaining the significance of who do you think that is there? That's the whole reason for it. As he thinks that it's the doppelganger and it's not yet. And then he finally realizes that whatever time he thought that he went back to or was in, it wasn't that time. Just like we see in The Return and the final episode, in the finale of the show, when you have Cooper questioning what year is this, because he went back and went somewhere to try to, try to save Laura, and he doesn't know where he is or what year it is. So there's a lot of those parallels throughout the show with things that happen to one character, that there's a parallel situation that happens to another character, kind of like what we just saw with Cooper with his ring, parallels the owl cave for Michael Ring,
that's made from the Formica table that the arm spreads his arm across in the convenience store, which you can see a little chunk of the table is missing, that it was dug out, and that's what was used to make the ring, which I only noticed that more recently in the last like year and a half or so, when I last watched Fire Walk with Me before I did a deep dive on it. But that was interesting, noticing that little chunk of the table is missing that they used to make the ring. Fire Walk with Me was okay. I wasn't overly impressed with it. I mean, back then, everyone hated it. I mean, it got booed at Cannes Film Festival. It got booed. The critics hated it. Most of the fans hated it because it was nothing close to how the show was. I mean, the show is lighthearted. It got weird and out there, yeah. But when Lynch had the reins to just do it himself, and Mark Frost not being involved, and it just being Lynch, man, that movie is so dark, it's so bleak, it's so different than the show. And that's a big reason why it was so panned initially. Over the years, it's gotten a much bigger reappraisal. And I mean, for me, I always thought it was a masterpiece ever since I first saw that movie. I still do. I think it's a masterpiece of a movie. And I think it's one of Lynch's best films. I think it went from being heavily criticized among his filmography to being one of his best pieces of work. Mulholland Drive is my favorite Lynch film. That's a top 20 movie of mine. Like, that's a perfect masterpiece. And Eraserhead is also a masterpiece of a film. Blue Velvet's a masterpiece. Inland Empire is very ambitious, and I think it's his most dense and layered work film-wise, if we're discounting Twin Peaks, the whole property of Twin Peaks, since there's a movie and the missing pieces and all that. Film-wise, Inland Empire is such a strange fucking film, and it is so dense and layered, and there's so many different interpretations to that. That's a movie that I've seen several times that I have no idea what the fuck is happening in that movie half the time. No idea, because it's just so out there and so weird. And that's what The Return was like. The Return was almost on Inland Empire levels. Just we had Twin Peaks, 2 seasons of it and 25 years of it, and the movie to stew on, and we loved it so much that we were familiar with it going into The Return. If that was just its own standalone series, not Twin Peaks, just called The Return, and it was about something else in the same style, it would be just as dense and confusing as Inland Empire is as a movie, in my opinion. I mean, that movie is so fucking confusing. It's a masterpiece, though. It's a near masterpiece for me, Inland Empire. Most of his films are. I mean, Mulholland Drive is probably Lynch's masterpiece. Blue Velvet comes close. Yeah, Mulholland Drive is his best for me. Eraserhead 2 and Blue Velvet all would be in the top 3. And Fire Walk with Me, for me, would be right there. Like, it would maybe even tie Blue Velvet for 3. Eraserhead would be 2, 100%. Eraserhead is my second favorite Lynch movie. It was the first Lynch movie that I remember seeing. It was because they used to play it on late night, AMC, or like those type of late night channels when they show monster movies and creature features. So I remember seeing that at like 10 years old, 11, because my first horror movie was John Carpenter's Halloween on Halloween night at 6 years old. And then the next horror film I saw right after that was all 8, at the time, Friday the 13th movies. They had a whole marathon on AMC or Sci-Fi or USA, one of those that used to play it every Friday. And I just was off to the races after that with movies, but horror in general, and slashers especially for a while early on, which are still my favorite subgenre of horror. Lost Highway over my. I mean, Lost Highway is another fucking near masterpiece movie, but that movie is one that I'm less familiar with than his other movies, and that's what I should rewatch soon and do a video on. Maybe that'll be the next Lynch deep dive. I've been wanting to do Blue Velvet for a while, for like ever since that December 2 years ago almost, when I called it a David Lynch December was the theme of the month, when I still did themes of the months back then, because I didn't realize I can't keep a theme going and then stop doing it. David Lynch December, and then nothing David Lynch related came except for Mulholland Drive. So Blue Velvet I've been wanting to talk about forever, but I don't know. Maybe Lost Highway. I mean, that's calling me. I haven't seen that in a while. So that would be very interesting. Dune is the greatest Lynch film of all time. I can't tell if you're being sarcastic. I'm guessing I know you are. But I could see you liking Dune. I mean, I don't dislike it. I just, one, I don't remember it. I haven't seen it in forever. And two, it just, the studio interference and David Lynch hating it himself for the most part. And it was a miserable experience for him. And I can understand that as an artist, like as a musician my whole life. If someone tried putting restrictions on my music or like how to write a certain thing or play a part or like anything like that, it would frustrate me to no end. Like absolutely. So I understand all of his frustration throughout his career with don't fuck with my art. Like, let me do what I do. And like, you see a lot of clips behind the scenes of The Return when they were constantly giving him shit and saying, we need to cut the scene down. And there's a famous clip of him saying, like, what? And he takes his headphones. What the fuck is everybody's problem and stuff? And we're cutting down scenes. And he starts getting angry, saying, like, who gives a fucking shit how long a scene is? And we never get a chance to go dreamy or anything like that. Like, he had a lot of pent up, and rightfully so, like frustrations against the studios and Hollywood in general. And it shows through all of his work, because most of, if not all of David Lynch's work has some aspects or some themes of Hollywood in some way at play. I mean, Mulholland Drive is a huge, big, obvious example of that. And Twin Peaks and with television and all of his work for the most part does. But I mean, excellent series, excellent rewatch. I had a lot of fun watching these and hanging out with you guys. It is 2:36 a.m. here in New York. So yeah, next we have Feast 3 and Poltergeist 3 will be the next two videos of deep dives coming out sometime in the next day or two. I would say in the next 2 days I'll have both out. And yeah, we'll do Piranha 3 Double D on Friday at 11 p.m. We'll do John Dies at the End Saturday. And then we'll do Twin Peaks, the next 3 episodes, the following Saturday. And I will keep everybody updated on the community tab with interviews and Felipe Mora 1, which we'll be recording hopefully sometime this week successfully with all the connection issues he was having last times. But yeah, everybody, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for coming and hanging out this late, especially on a Sunday night. But let me read this last comment here from Albert. Lynch was mad because he was working on a TV series and they wanted to make their days. And yeah, exactly. He wanted to really do his thing. And he, even though it's the most Lynch, I'll end on this. Even though it is the most Lynch version of Twin Peaks that we've ever seen, really, The Return. So he did get to fully show his vision. He even had to fight what the hell? The company. He had to fight them for the time and the episodes. And he wanted 18 episodes is what he got, but they wanted him to cut it to 9 and do it in half the time. And he said no. And then they ended up, it was off. And then they ended up coming back and coming to a compromise, and he was able to do the full 18 hours, the 18 episodes. If this was 9 hours and 9 episodes, I don't think he would have been able to pull this off and show the vision that he really wanted to. But all right, guys, good stuff, Albert, by the way, and welcome. But everybody, thank you for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for visiting Twin Peaks again with us. And Pat, have a good night, buddy. I'll talk to you soon. Same with you, Ginger, and everybody else. Have a great night. And if you need to survive your Monday, just go through old shit on the channel or on the TikTok. I've been posting some short reviews and stuff on there of movies I've already done long deep dives of. So, all right, guys, have a great night. Take care.